living like a yeah, living like a mob star. We a Sparta. We support the parties that are sponsor. You know, see the car ride by me Rolex, and me never go low from a pole, and me never and me and me never go low from a polo. Look on the 24 rolling slow. And me no take trade the be we make weed smoke in my lungs that are cancer. For me no you're born straight but a banker. Oh. Yeah. You know you me say uno favors a blanca. You know you me uno favor. Insane crazy turn in a monster. Pathological in a monster. You know you me say uno favors a blanca. My foot plant like a tree root. Hi everyone, welcome back to Themes and Thumbs. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking. Go and get that. Yeah, eh. You know, you me say uno fibos blanca. You know, you me say uno fibos. That was one of my most favorite songs. Also, any boy put a foot, I get shook. Me no care where you come from, shook. Somebody hit that figure up like book. All right. Hi everyone, welcome back to Themes and Thoughts. Grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that. I was watching something today and I thought, since I made the live stream from yesterday private, I'm going to chop it up and put some of it out, right? Especially at the beginning. So I wanted to give you all something to stew on. I am going to I am going to put a video out. I'm gonna put some of it out this week, but in the meantime, I found this that I I found this and I am very curious as to how I have never seen this video. It's an older video from these two. And I am very curious as to like how I didn't see it. It says exposing the downloads. Boom, bye, bye. Let me stop. Exposing the down low spirit in men, lust, identity, and deliverance. I've always been curious about, in particular, um, the idea that homosexuality, like there is a part of Christianity, a big sect of Christians who believe that you can quote pray the gay away, and that there are reasons why people turn out to be gay and they know what it is, and it has something to do with a spirit. OMG, another spirit. You know, we're learning about the spirits. The other day, we learned about the spirit of prostitution. We learned about the Jezebel spirit. We learned about the spirit of cheating. And now we're learning about the homosexual spirit. So get your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're drinking, go and get that. And let us dig into the spirit of homosexuality. Now, there is one thing that I wanted to point out. And I am always curious about the idea that for some people the spirit of homosexuality have them sleeping with everyone in sight, have them doing all kinds of drug and doing some of the most degenerate things ever. And for other people, they're just getting married and not doing all of that. So maybe there are different kinds of homosexual spirit. Maybe the spirit of homosexuality, when you integrate that into your being, it affects you differently. You know, like a mutation. If you watch the X-Men, or if you watch JJK, for example, you know that it is JJK is actually a better example of this, where there are um there are different kinds of spirit and they interact and engage with you differently, and even the powers you have might differ based on the your amount of spiritual energy and also the kind of energy you have. So let not a mutated spirit So let's see what we can mine here, what we can learn. I have not seen this video at all. Like there is not even a second of this video that I've watched. So we are watching it together, and hopefully we can learn something to take back to our communities and help the gays. All right, let me stop. Let's get into it. All right, grab your coffee, water, tea, whatever you're doing. I know you guys are going out to go zip it and zoo it. Today is a Saturday. I might be going out to zip it and zoo it also. So we have to get this wrapped up before 10 o'clock. All right, let's do it. All right. Watching from Atlanta. So you definitely need to learn how to exercise the spirit of it. Girl, if you're in Atlanta, you definitely need to go understand the DL. Why did I skip there? You definitely need to understand the DL spirit. If you're in Atlanta, if you're in if you're in Atlanta, if you are in Atlanta, you definitely need to understand the DL spirit, right? So this this stream is dedicated to you and Atlanta. So here we go.
That's when I find out what a blowjob is. I was introducing guys to guys.
Or did you ever declare to be homosexual at some point along the journey?
This side is telling me, be yourself. You can't pray the gay away. God made you this way. Love is love. Then on the other side, it's like, you're going to hell.
What is the process to get that out of your heart?
I just want to say to the brother who's dealing with same-sex attraction and wants to be married.
This one is heavy, but it's real. Apostle Reginald Robinson opened up about being exposed to sexual perversion as a child and how that opened the door to homosexuality and living a double life until he made a decision to fully surrender to Christ. This isn't about judgment. It's about truth, healing, deliverance. And if you're wrestling with identity, lust, or anything that's been eating at you in silence, this conversation is for you. But don't just listen. Take action. The waitlist for the all-new Hardly Initiated community is open right now. And we built this space for people who are serious about, and a bigger struggle, I should say, in the community than we ever knew or understood. So we're going to keep some people that we trust, all right, on the set here to be able to help y'all navigate this issue. And we found a very powerful brother that I'm very excited to get here to you guys. Author, mentor, apostle, Reginald Robinson in the building.
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, man?
I'm glad to be here.
Listen, we had to get you on the show. I don't know if you've seen our episode. We did a debate where we had 3 pastors debating homosexuality. Pretty much, can you be godly and homosexual?
Can you be godly and homosexual? Period. This isn't about judgment, but we're judging you. It's not about judgment, but you're going to hell. That's what that other girl said yesterday. I am not trying to judge the prostitutes. I'm not here to judge, but you're going to hell. What you're doing is degenerate, and you're going to, like, I don't understand how these people, knowing the definition of words, can come out and say, I am not judging you, and then go straight into judging you and condemning you to hell. I don't know how they do it. Christians, actually, I do know how they do it. They're Christians.
And I mean, the show performed amazing. When I say performed amazing, it was extremely transformational, even in the debate. The amount of people that we had email us about this particular issue with lust and homosexuality in particular was, I mean, innumerable. It was just that many people hit us up. And it's funny because, you know, when people hit you up, they just don't say, hey, thank you for helping with this problem. They say, hey, watch the video. I just got delivered yesterday. I want to get on the show to share my testimony. Right? So, of course, you know, we're like, okay, thank you. But look, we need to get some help from somebody who really has been through this, who has completely, you know, transformed their life and are helping other people transform their life. And amongst all of those contacts and emails and DMs, you are actually a part of the recommended person or expert, you know, pastor, whatever, that we need to get on the show. Wow. So I hit you up, of course, and thankfully, man, you know, a couple weeks later, we got you. We're moving.
Yeah, man. Glad to be here. I thought it was spam, bro.
Really?
I thought it was spam, man. I sent it over to Zaire, and he called me immediately. He was like, "You know who this is?" I was like, "I've heard of him." He was like, "Bro, you need to respond to them. This is a huge podcast." I was
Wait,
like,
first of all, we didn't improve our emails. It looked like spam. Lionel, what we sending these folks, man?
"No, it was a DM.
We just lit like that.
It was a DM first."
Oh, yeah, it was a DM.
Yeah.
Okay, see the DMs work.
Yeah, man, you just came highly recommended, man. And of course, shout out to Ezekiel Zonwu and his powerful show that he's on over there. We need to talk. But watch your full interview, man. I thought it was amazing. And I also thought it was some opportunity.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, we're gonna get Ezekiel because he got some questions he still left on the table. Okay. And that's we gonna dig into that. We're gonna dig into that today.
Yeah. Absolutely. And before we get into it, guys, I want to let you know I'm so excited. It's that season, y'all. All my initiates, if you're ready for this drop, are we ready?
That's resistant.
You can
metallic gold fund.
Yeah, no, it's nice.
Feel that the two.
Yeah. With a family member, and all of a sudden we're in,
conflict, so to speak, with homosexuality.
Yeah, man. At a single digit age, actually.
He has conflict with homosexuality. Sorry, I was skipping because they were talking too much. So he's explaining how he came to be having a conflict with homosexuality. So here we go. They are a little too excited. They're about to be delivered. Let the man be.
It took me to my adult age to remember. My first encounter with sex was under the bed with an older female relative. Later on, I'm playing around with a family member, and all of a sudden, we're in, it's a sexual act. Then it became,
How old was she?
How old was I?
How old were you? You can remember and her.
I was single digit. She probably was about maybe 6 years older than me.
Got it.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. She was still a young woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, it was, guys in the neighborhood that were, athletic or whatnot. And they would say, hey, if you want to, if we'll play with you, but if you want us to play with you, you need to do this for us. And so it ended up being some type of sexual act. And then it was just a lot of kids around the community. And, this was happening there. And then it was an older guy that was about my father's age that knew my father. One day he popped up in my house, and I was just too afraid to say no. And then things happened, and that continued until I got to the age where I learned to say no. And then my grandma would be playing cards, at one of the friends' house while the kids in the back in the closet playing house. It was all around me. I went to church. There was one of the pastors at the church. I'm still in middle school. One of the pastors at the church, got close to me before I knew it. That turned into something sexual. I love God.
The pastor of the church.
One of the pastors. He wasn't the main pastor. He was one of the pastors.
How old were you at this point?
Bro, I was still in middle school, probably 7th grade. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, so then there were friends. There were people in.
One of the things I don't understand, and when people are telling their stories as children, I just kind of let it be because this is really, really sad. And the fact that so many people have this kind of story is really, really just heart-wrenching. As an adult telling the story, I get not wanting to talk about your family member because they were the same age or a little bit older or younger than you, whatever. I don't get the need to protect adults that you now know as an adult mistreated you as a child. Particularly when he says that preacher is probably still in the church preaching, which means that there are vulnerable children who he has access to still. And I get not wanting to put your business out there, but you're already putting it out there. So the one thing that you are keeping to yourself is the name of the person who is causing harm to children, and particularly cause harm to you. That's the thing I'm not about to hide. That name, I'm not about to hide.
School, bro, this thing was all around me. I was at my aunt's house one time. I remember it was New Year's Eve. I went next door to play with the kids that were my age. Some were a little bit younger than me, but that's all I had. So I went over there to play with them, and the uncle comes in the room with, on the phone, and he says, hey, I got a lady on the phone. She's asking if you want a blowjob. And I didn't know what a blowjob was. I'm thinking, I got a lot of aunties and stuff. And so we did a lot of, cutting grass and raking and stuff like that. So I'm thinking it's something like that. Oh, cool. I can get a little money. So he walks me out of the room, walks me into the other room. That's when I find out what a blowjob is that day. And so, bro, this.
Wait. Hold on. Let me make sure I understand. The uncle walks in, do you want a blowjob, takes you in another room and introduces you, and like he brings you to a woman, or he does that himself?
No, he does it himself.
And this is your uncle that you grew up with?
This is not my uncle. This is the uncle of a neighbor. I was at a neighbor's house. It was so.
Oh, wait. I'm glad they asked. These men are terrible interviewers. These men are terrible interviewers, but I'm glad they asked for that clarification because I thought there was other person. I didn't know he did it. Oh, I'm going to drag you and I'm going to name you. I'm going to drag you and I'm going to name you. He's processing his trauma, so I'm going to hurry up and speed past this in my mind. There's going to be very little input from me because when people talk about, true or not, when people talk about their childhood and the trauma that existed in their childhood for them, I try to not comment on it. Even where I have issues around facts, I try to refrain. So we're just going to let him talk when it comes to his childhood and completely ignore all of it. I'm not going to engage with it beyond this.
I was at my aunt's house. I went to the neighbor's house where there were kids. We were playing. He comes in the room where the kids are, says that to me in front of the kids too. So I guess they didn't know what it was either. I was like, oh,
why was he so bold? Why do you feel so bold to do that?
And how old? Because uncles can be from teens, depending on kind of what family.
No, this was an old man. This man had to be probably at the time in his 30s.
Wow.
Yeah, man.
And sexually took you to the room and pretty much sexually assaulted you.
Pretty much. Yeah.
So let me tell you, he probably raised hell on a lot of kids. If he felt that bold to do that to you, that ain't the first time he did that.
Probably so.
Man, hearing that, it's this is numerous encounters with sex at a very young age.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
What do you think, it was about you or about a person that they may be prone, or I don't want to say prone, because you're a kid.
Yeah.
But that these things because it seemed like they were coming at you from all directions. Is there anything that you can identify that maybe put you in position to even experience those things, or is it just random? How do you explain it?
So, bro, I was always different. I was born, I was born with red hair, freckles. Nobody in my immediate family had that. I just always kind of stood out. And then I wasn't a boy's boy, so I wasn't into sports or anything like that. I was more so into music. I was into fashion, and this was again before the Kanye days. Before now, fashion is cool. I was into fashion. I was into art. And so, and then also, when I was coming up, people would say "Oh, you gay? You sweet?" I didn't know what that was. Later on, I realized, I had a twist in my walk, and I had a lisp in my talk. Every now and then it'll come back, and I had a broken wrist. And so that plus I was a handsome young man, I think, kind of put a target on me, bro. And I feel like, and I know your audience is not all, spiritual, but I feel like that was Satan's assignment in my life from the beginning.
Wow.
To take me out with that. Yeah.
To be honest, when you think about we heard that we're not supposed to use coincidence no more, right?
Right.
Because
I do have to. The idea that Satan wanted him because he was so attractive. Okay, what is more plausible? You came out and you had the features that these colorist and featurist men, black men, I'm assuming, had, and these women who also abused you had in your community. And so they took advantage of you. Or the devil was after you, and this is a spiritual warfare. It feels odd to kind of conclude without evidence, zero evidence, that the devil was specifically after you, as opposed to, wait, these men were gay and pedophiles, and these women were pedophiles, and you were a child who got abused by pedophiles. Now, the fact that everyone in the neighborhood seemed to be coming after you might connote some kind of spiritual warfare, because the way you open the story, it does sound like everyone that you came in contact with just abused you, which is unfortunate and sad.
There's no coincidences. And when you consider that all those accounts that took place, that's a full-out attack.
Absolutely.
So you can't, at that point, it got to be beyond a coincidence. But you're saying something I've never heard anybody pinpoint. Do you believe that young men that also have those more feminine characteristics, culturally, mannerisms, all of those men might also be more prone to those experiences in general.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. You know, because it's an easy target. It's like, I don't have to figure out if you may get down with this. I look at how you walk. I look at how you talk. And from that, my assumption is you'll like this. You know, you'll get with this. And because I didn't even know what it was. Like, gay was ministered to me. Everybody was saying it to me. I didn't know what it was. And I like girls. You know what I'm saying? I was writing letters to God asking if, you know, Carla or somebody would say yes, you know, to my love note, you know. It was before I even knew what sexuality was. I had an opportunity to choose what I wanted, you know.
I'm just glad that you were open and honest about that, just your perspective on that, because, you know, and because I want to be very clear about this, we're not blaming any adolescent for, you know, experience abuse, right?
Not.
But I think it's very important that
we're not blaming adolescents and children for their abuse. And then you follow up, you follow that up with but. Why do I feel like the very next couple of words coming from this degenerate's mouth is going to be blaming them kids for how they walk and talk and how that attracted predators? Well, I haven't seen this, so I hope I'm wrong. But that but right there, let's hear it, girl.
identify certain things that might increase the level of risk.
Yeah.
You know, if a young lady is walking down the street half naked, we're not saying that if you was fully dressed, covered from head to toe, that somebody would not assault you, but maybe dressing this way makes you a little bit more prone to it.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if
someone in this chat pointed out that the conversation and the way that they were having it was analogous to people asking what was she wearing. I think I can find that comment. Someone literally just wrote that. Before he said it, someone in the chat wrote that this is analogous to, oh, here, thank you. It says, it's giving, that girl was fast. No, there's another one, sorry. There's someone who said, what was she, this is also there too, but someone asked, it's giving, what was she wearing? I can't find it. I'm sorry. There's a million comments, so like I can't find the comment. But there was a comment here that is saying, what was she wearing, essentially? And it's the same thing that they're doing, and he just straight up draws the comparison outright and then affirms it. He says, I'm not saying it's her fault, but like, what you're wearing do have, girl, shut up. No, what you're wearing doesn't. You could be naked out there. It is not your fault.
you know, because you hear about that, like when you grow up, like your mom or your dad may say, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, don't do that. And this, in their mind, they're thinking, hey, if you walk around with that twist or you keep putting your hand out like that, you may, you know, cause some unwanted attention.
Yeah.
So and also they just don't want a gay child too.
That too.
That's what
that too.
you know.
Yeah. I think that because really talking to y'all, every time I talk, I hear something new. You know what I'm saying? There's
Thank you. The fact that you said you were the one who said it was easier to scroll up and find it because your thing, the picture you use stands out. This is very close to what were you wearing. Thank you. That is exactly what I was looking for. I appreciate you saying you said it.
a piece of the puzzle I added. So this is my first time saying it this way.
Yeah.
You know, so I think more so the parents, they don't want a gay child, or, you know, they don't believe that it's right. And so they're just trying to help you to not do wrong, you know, when they speak to it. I don't know if parents think for a young man to twist or what have you, if they think that this guy is now prone to attacks of some type of predators.
See, they are blaming the children. They're saying because you are prone to attacks because you walk with a twist. And it's a very underhanded way of advancing this conversation, because as a child, even people who are not gay or men who are not feminine are being abused by these men who are pedophiles. Little girls are being abused also. So you are not more prone because you walk with a twist. That's not a thing. A lot of men have gone through sexual abuse and they do not talk about it at all because they feel like it makes them less of a man. And some of those men, a lot of those men, do not, quote, walk with a twist. You all are trying to find a justification for why grown men engage in some of the most degenerate behavior. This, I believe, is reckless. What they're doing right now, I believe it is reckless. The way they're having this conversation is reckless because what is happening, I think, to the audience is that if your child walking with a quote unquote twist or being feminine is going to attract adults, right? Are they more prone to being attractive to adults because they walk with a twist? What you're gonna do and think, if you believe this worldview, if you accept it, is that you're going to try to police your child's behavior in an attempt to prevent grown men from engaging with them in ways that are inappropriate. Because for real, if you think about this, if you believe your child being feminine, your son being feminine, is going to make him more prone to being abused, to prevent him from being abused, if you can't stop the people who are coming, you're going to try to police his behavior. Also, there is going to be this kind of shame. If you're a man who's been abused as a child, or if you're a child for some reason watching this who is being abused, there is a level of self blame that could come up. Maybe I was walking with a twist when I was a child. Was I so feminine? Did I attract this man to do this in my life as a child? Yeah, this is out of pocket. Yeah, to be fair to them, they're dumb. So I would not expect them to do any kind of meaningful analysis. So this is the level they're at.
Might be something that, even for many who are listening now, like myself, it might just be an eye opener, something to be mindful of and to be watchful of.
Wow. And those activities, because I'm thinking about those activities that you was involved in, like you said the fashion, you mentioned a couple other things. Like, I don't know, do those things come with, skill sets of battling peer pressure,
Production inquiry, this is actually a good point. They won't get pushback from men who have been abused, who didn't, quote unquote, walk with a twist. Because no man is about to come out here and say, oh my God, that is not true. I was assaulted and molested as a child and I did not walk with a twist. They're not going to say that. So they can talk about this with impunity. Actually, let's go into the comments because I'm actually pissed now. And let's see if at least. Never mind. Never mind. Why would I think their dusty comment section is going to do anything meaningful? Now I understand why my parents never allowed us to go to nobody's house. We couldn't even go in no one's house that lived next door to us. We couldn't stay the night. I can't see this. Sexual perversion is a spirit and can be just. Oh my God. He didn't know what gay was, but people kept forcing that spirit on him, which caused him to be a target. Okay, let's just. I can't stand religious people. Like, there's a part of me that hates when I say that, but honest to God, I can't stand religious people. Instead of talking about the grown, disgusting, degenerate, useless, weak A nothing A B people who are attacking people and being pedophiles, we are now talking about spirits. Instead of addressing the very real, the very physical problem of grown degenerates attacking children, we're out here talking about spirits. Y'all are just so, not y'all, sorry. These people are absolutely useless to me. They're actually useless. Talking about some spirit when your child being touched. The same with that degenerate from yesterday talking about, oh, God showed me the spirit of molestation was coming from my son, so I fasted. You fasted. God.
because and it just makes me think about this. I'm thinking about Dr. Jawanza. He talks about how young men are impacted, and he's like, hey, listen.
Are most grown men just out here trying to out predator each other? Right.
If you get your young men in self-defense, they're going to be more likely to be succumb or less likely to succumb to peer pressure and things like that, and focus on who's giving them the correct instruction. So do you
put your child in self-defense fully? That child go defend himself against a grown man. You know what? Because what he's doing is he's conflating things, right? Peer pressure is not what caused this man, when he was a child, to be molested. That was not peer pressure. Those were grown men taking advantage. So no, self-defense class is not going to stop a grown man from abusing a child.
feel like you were involved in any type of youth activity that did prepare you to kind of maybe question some of the things that was being presented to you?
Let me uncover what these idiots are doing. They're trying to say, if you make the child more masculine, that will protect him. That is what they're doing. Mind you, Keela just pointed out, Diddy's mother tried to beat the homosexual out of Diddy. And girl, we have a surviving Diddy documentary now. 40, 50 years later, we have a surviving Diddy documentary. So go try to beat the gay out of your child, make them more masculine, and see what happens. I can't stand people who come from the church in this very specific way. Everything is a spirit. How about you worship God and actually act in the flesh? Like, figure out how to protect your child, figure out how to live life, figure out what love looks like when it comes to your family, and how to protect them from these predators. Religion, spirits, God worship equals protection for sin. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I knew it was wrong.
Okay.
I always knew it was wrong. And in some cases, I didn't know how to say no. In some cases, because, this is where so again, I'm different already, right? And then I have feminine tendencies. So a projecting straight person doesn't necessarily want to hang with somebody who seems feminine, because now it's like, why are you hanging with the feminine dude? You must be sweet too. So now if the only time that projecting straight person is wanting to connect with me is if it's something intimate or something sexual, well, then for me, I was like, okay, bet.
Wow.
I get to connect with you. You know what I'm saying? This gives me a level of connection, even if you don't say nothing to me in public, this gives me some level of connection or attention or, affirmation. This is something that, well, I'm not good at football, I'm not good at basketball, but this is something that,
I'm assuming he's saying this in the context of being a child, not knowing how to connect with other men, and realizing that his body and engagement sexually was the only way he could connect with other boys. I'm just going to assume that's what he's saying, and not when he's a grown man. Right? So I have no critique yet.
Oh, I'm affirmed in, something that you want to do with me. So for me at the time, it was a fair trade-off.
Wow.
Man, that's really why you got to build up your kids, man. We was talking about that just with our young men.
No, what? Are you dumb? You heard him say he was abused. People didn't want to be his friend. They were introducing him to all kind of sexual perversion. He did not know what to do, right? And then he figured, this is how I do it. And your response is, oh, that's why we got to bring up our kids. No, that's how you got to protect your children from molestation. You got to protect your kids from them grown, disgusting degenerate that are doing this to their children. And then, yes, you raise them right. This is why I have given hope on most Black men. This is so disheartening and absolutely dishonest. Yeah, not only is it dishonest, the blame feels like it is with the parent and the child. And none of the real anger and vitriol is aimed at the perpetrators of harm. And that's wild to me.
And building up security and confidence in a young man so they don't have to find it in these different places. Because a lot of times, men even turn into whores because they finding their manhood in that woman's vagina.
Absolutely.
And in these different places, then succumbing to peer pressure in environments they have no business being in because they're getting validation they didn't get somewhere else.
Or bro, they were just like me, but it just may not have been homosexual, or it could have been, because sometimes people have homosexual experiences at a young age and they just don't live it out the homosexual way. They'll leave it out with womanizing or doing something like that. We don't talk enough about young men who are sexually abused.
Right.
Pastor Zeke and I were just having a conversation.
It is absolutely dangerous for you to be online spewing the idea that the abuse one faces in their childhood leads them to be homosexual. That is absolutely insane and very dangerous. Also, it feels like you're trying to protect children from being homosexual as opposed to protect children from being abused by predators, both men and women alike. It feels like they're trying to send out a fear. And the fear being sent out, the fear you need to have in watching this is that if your child is abused, they will become homosexual. So you need to prevent your child from being homosexual.
With Pastor Jerry Flowers about, a brother who, was molested, by, I believe, a friend that was around the same age, and to most people, they would say, what you mean?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You 16, you got another 16-year-old female here and you telling me she molested you? Like, our society does not protect our men's body as much as we project to protect our women's body. And the men need to know that their body is a temple of the Holy Spirit as well. They need to know that their body is valuable as well, And so society teaches us that, if you're a man, this is what you go and do.
So I want to talk about the mannerisms a bit more.
Go ahead.
Because you have sometimes people will communicate, hey, I was born like this. I was born with this set of interests. I was born with this set of mannerisms.
Mm-hmm.
But what do you think it was? Was it
you were born with that set of interests for real? Mm-mm. For real. You were born with the set of interests that didn't even exist before the early 2000s. Like you were born with those interests. You want him to talk about his mannerisms because you want to unpack how his mannerisms led to him being abused. Because you all have concluded that his mannerism is what led him to being abused. Mm-hmm.
nature, or was it, this is how, you came out the womb?
Yeah, beautiful question.
Okay.
So trying to see where I'm going to start this. So I speak about sin, sins, and iniquity.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So there's sin, which is the sin nature. It is the slave master. It is what entered into all of humanity when Adam ate of the fruit. Then there are sin expressions. These expressions are expressions of that sin nature, which are not the same. So, for example, Adam's sin expression was to eat of the fruit, but then he had two sons, Cain and Abel. Cain's sin expression was murder. Adam never murdered anybody. And then you have iniquities, which are like deep impressions and patterns.
Oh, no. That was not Cain's only sin. There was a sin. There was a spirit of jealousy. You're not going to ignore that, and envy. Cain was absolutely jealous of his brother, which led to the murder. Don't skip that part of the story. And I'm not pointing it out for his sake. I'm pointing it out for the sake of the chat.
Of sins. These are what I call like sins passed down, generational curses. It's not the actual sin, but it's the pattern that you go about in committing the sin. Well, David says we were all born into sin and shaping into iniquity. Now, some people would say, well, David said that about himself. David said, I was born into sin and shaping iniquity. And some people would say that David was saying that about himself, so we can't apply that to everybody. But I believe that gives us a glimpse into all of our lives, that we're all born into sin and shaping into iniquity. So why am I making all of this or saying all of this? It's because I believe that same-sex attraction is an expression of sin, just like any other expression of sin. It's no different from any other sin. Now, when you talk about feminine ways, so in the New Testament, there are two words that Paul writes. One is arsenokoitai, which means man who bed with man, and then there's malakos, which means soft. Now, this is where the lines get blurred sometimes, because some people are saying, well, I didn't, I was born with these feminine tendencies. I do believe that you can be born with same-sex attraction, just like I believe you can be born with any other sin. I do agree. I believe that that's biblical. But I do believe at the same time that there's certain things that we add on. So, for example, I was feminine. I had feminine tendencies and ways, but when I went on to further project as a woman, so I took on the women words and I started putting on the women's clothes and I started doing these things to intentionally project as a woman. That's why I believe we start to cross the line. But there's some men who are born, with feminine ways and feminine tendencies. That is not a sin. That's not a sin. Now, for me, I worked on it. I worked on it. For me, I worked on my voice. I worked on the way that I walked. I was very intentional about it. But do I believe that everybody needs to work on that? No, work on your heart. All this other stuff,
you do know that your voice, there are like biological traits that include how deep your voice is based on testosterone, based on how thick your vocal cords are, right? There's some things that are in fact biological. The way you walk is not biological. The way you talk is not biological. Again, there are parts of the way you speak. There's part of speech that is in fact biological, but a lot of this is cultural. So from off rip, he dead wrong. He's teaching about things that you are born into, right? There are things that are a part of you biologically, and he is fully wrong. Completely wrong. Therefore, the basis on which his teaching relies, the basis on which the teaching comes from, is off. It's wrong. Good. Walk with a waddle, body shaped like a Coke bottle. I'll never forget the podcaster said he wanted a young girl he can mold. He is weird. His victim blaming is not shocking. Agreed. Light skin, no tooth, the one with the missing tooth at the side. Yes, he did say that he wanted a young woman he can mold. He did not want to date people who are his age because they were harder to mold. He did say this. Yes.
Outside projection, or how you do that, is a byproduct of what's in your heart. There's some people that talk about things like what do they say, no residue. And so they look with the eye and they say, well, if I can look with my eye and not see residue, there's no residue. But that's a lie, because a lot of the men that I slept with, you never saw residue. You didn't even know it was there. But then there are men who may be soft or feminine who never even had sex before.
Wow. I'm glad you explained that, because
you're glad someone explained that a man can be born and be feminine and not gay, or like not have sex. You needed someone to explain. You were glad someone explained that to you. You have a podcast talking to thousands of people, and you did not know this.
That was a great breakdown.
It is, and that's what I was. I'm looking at you, and I'm like, I don't see the wrist hanging. I saw you walk in. I don't see the twitch.
Yeah.
So I was thinking in my mind, I wonder if he has worked on these things.
Yeah.
And
so that's good to know that.
So you all invited a man on, and you did not know if he had worked on these feminine things that he talks about and helps to train men out of the homosexual ways, I'm assuming. You invited him on. You said it was very important to have him on. He came with a lot of recommendation. You guys seemed excited for him to be there, and you knew nothing about him. You want to know what is also a sin? Lying. Also, they're going to be real surprised when they realize these people who are considered masculine are also gay. Well, that's going to really blow their mind. It's going to blow their mind when they find out that the risk does not have to hang for these men to be gay. That's going to really take them out. Funny enough, they title Exposing the DL Spirit. And the DL spirit in their dusty mind comes with the fact that a lot of men are gay or engage in homosexual behavior who do not have the quote unquote loose wrist. Demas, I see what he's saying in a sense. Some men do have traits of women they may have learned because they only have sisters, no brother. No, that's not what he's saying. That is what I am saying. What he is saying is that some people are born that way, and that's not true. We are socialized into behaviors that our body can accommodate. So, yes, the way you talk might vary based on the thickness of your vocal cords and things of the sort, right? But you still learn to talk in very specific ways with very specific vocabulary, up talk, down talk, all of that. But ultimately, acculturation and that kind of nurture process does inform how you show up in the world.
For anybody that's dealing with it, that those things can be worked on.
Yeah. And that was my personal conviction, though.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah.
Why did you decide to intentionally work on those things?
So I think a part of it was not pure. I think a part of it was just wanting to be accepted by society. And so I had worked on those things, and I was seeing some changes, but my heart wasn't changed. And so I had to, change my mind to work on my heart. But I think a part of it was that, I just wanted to be accepted. And I didn't once I realized.
Why would you write this? Why would you write this? Why would you write this? The category is heteromask, period. Funny enough, I don't dislike Hat. I do not dislike Hat. Hat's ownership of I learned to be more masculine presenting was a performance for acceptance. I think that's a good thing. No, I do. I think that the acknowledgement of I still am working to be accepted is insane.
I was talking like that or walking like that. I didn't like it. I was like, why am I walking like this?
Wow.
Probably in middle school, I would hate for the teacher to call me up because I would have to get up and walk in front of the class.
Wow.
And all the dudes highlight, sweet. I laugh about it now, gay,
First of all, I was kind of a bully in school too, so I know how them kids are.
Yeah.
No, middle school is the worst.
It's
the worst.
You get known for being ugly, fine, rich, poor.
It don't matter.
Fat, skinny.
They're gonna find something.
Yeah,
they're gonna find
good or
something.
bad.
Yeah, so it was just I didn't like how I was walking, and I wanted to be accepted by society. Now there are some things that happen. Like for example, I look at myself now, and I'm like, God did that, because people look at me and say no residue. Sometimes I see it, sometimes I don't. Because again, I'm just working on my heart, man. I'm trying to get to heaven.
Stop lying. You're not just working on your heart. You just own the fact that you were working on the way that you present because you wanted to be accepted in society, and period. If I could change my accent when I was in uni, I would have. Now, I wouldn't change it for the world. Well, no, give me the world and I'll change it. Give me what accent you want. You want a Southern accent? You want a British accent? You want a South African accent? You want a Nigerian accent? I'll take whatever accent for $1 million. So I would change it for $1 million. But I'm so comfortable with it now where I wasn't. And I can understand and appreciate wanting to fit in better. Right? So period. Don't take it back now. Don't say, oh my God, I'm not working on my outer appearance now. I'm only working on my heart. No, you're not. You are. The way you showed up, that shirt under, that jacket, that hat on your head, the way you refuse to move your hand in any meaningful way as you talk while they are fighting for their life to get up and move with your speech, because I can see your hand wanting to move and you're holding them down for dear God. I think it's for dear life. You're holding them down for dear life, I think. Anyway, I can see you performing now. Period. Period. Eat that down. And I don't even blame you. Like, if you want to do what you want to do to fit in, do what you want to do to fit in. See, Monsieur Southern accent. Y'all boys gonna need my tractor. I don't know. I think my Southern. She was driving Lee Swatty on her way to Cincinnati in a slow white black Jeep. Going home to feel me on it out of baby in the big seat. Vera mama, she was wagging low and faith and gasoline. It's been a hard, long day. She had a lot on her mind and she didn't pay attention. She was going way too fast. Before you knew it, she was singing on a thin bleak sheet of play. So, you want to? That doesn't sound Irish. I can't breathe. I ain't gonna tell y'all what I even imagine I'm doing in order to do that foolishness. Y'all said that was trash. Y'all are a hater. What someone said, he sounds like Donkey from Shrek. Y'all not about, I'm gonna just move on because I feel like y'all out of pocket, and this is a public shaming of me, and I don't feel like that's fair. I think I ate that down.
I believe God is making a man out of me, but I don't know if that's everybody's testimony. I don't want people to be, having this gator or whatever to look at people and say, look at him, look at that twist. He ain't delivered. How do you know? You don't know his heart. You got men, walking out here dabbing, you know what I'm saying? That's sweeter than.
Wait. If this is true, then I did it right. If this is true, then I did it right. Someone said not me or not cutesy. Y'all, if y'all don't stop, I'm just gonna do the rest of this live stream with a country accent, and ain't nobody want to hear that. So just ease up off my neck, please. It's giving that y'all have joined the jealous community. It's not right to be jealous because I can change my voice.
Patty pies, but you just don't know because you can't see it.
Right.
So yeah.
So I want to know this too chronologically because you saying that you liked women while all of this stuff was even happening. When did you, I guess, finally declare, or was there ever a moment where you declare, wow, okay, I'm officially or did you ever declare to be homosexual at some point along the journey?
Yeah, I never did.
Even while you were,
while I was in it, man. I always, I believe that God had enough grace on my life and his hand was on my life so that I knew he was there. I knew this was wrong and I could not give up on believing that I could find a way out. And so I never identified as it, even though I was in it, bro. I was really in it, but I never, they would, call each other girls and.
Wait. No, see, this is where the interviewer needed to get into this. When you said you never identified as it, they mean gay. He said it, girl. he said it, period. He said, I never identify as it being gay, but I was deep in it. The fact that these people don't say, wait, when you say deep in it, how deep are you? Like, can you explain how deep in it you were? Because ain't nobody need you to identify as gay when you said you were deep in it. And I would have had questions. I would have had questions. So the fact that he get to skip over how deep he was in it is a problem for me. I'm going to take these comments off my screen. I'm gonna take this comments off my screen because y'all are out of pocket. The way that y'all are out of pocket is out of pocket.
cis and all that kind of stuff. Now if I'm joking and bantering,
I'm talking about in it. Why? That was the first thing that popped into my mind, but I decided I wasn't going to do it because I don't want y'all to laugh at my accent ever again.
maybe, but like just to like call me that, no, that's not my identity. That's not my identity. That's not who I am. This is not who I'm always going to be in.
Oh, he said, when I was doing it, I did not want y'all to call me that thing because that's not who I was. And I've always known that I was going to get out of it. I'm going to do it now. And I don't want you to label me as that because I'm going to be out of it. So I'm going to be just swallowed up for now. And then after my swallowed up period, I'll be out of it, period. Because that's how that works.
Especially for DL brothers, most of them, this is their sentiment as well. They want to be married. They want to come out of this lifestyle. They just can't find a way out.
That's why they DL, because it's the shame associated.
So they're stuck in between two worlds. You have the LGBTQ plus community now,
Right.
and then you have the religious traditional community. And so
when you saying that, you mean the church, like the LGBTQ church, or just
just a community altogether. And I'll put the affirming churches over here too.
Okay.
And then you have the religious church and religious people over here, because all of them aren't. And let me not even say religious people. More, I'll say traditional people.
Right.
People who believe in male, female. They ain't religious at all, but they just believe in it, right?
He's standing up for the DL brothers. He about to stand up for the DL brothers. Period. I did not know the DLs would have an advocate. Let me get my chair situated because I did not know this was where this was going. I did not know this was where this was going. So, period. Let's hear it. I actually do not disagree with him. I think the people who are DL, okay, I disagree slightly. I agree with him that the people who are DL because they feel shame and they would prefer to be able to live quote unquote normal lives, but they don't know how to stop being attracted to men, right? Where we differ is which one they would choose if they had the opportunity to. If there were no shame and they could choose, I think he and I differ as to where they would go. And I think he does not understand that what is keeping them in alignment with the traditional sort of male-female engagement is shame. He and I differ greatly on where they would go.
Down with the gates up. Them kind of people. Right. And so you're stuck right here in the middle, and it's like, okay, I have this attraction. I don't believe it's right, but I don't know what to do with it. So I'm stuck right here. This side is telling me, be yourself. Just stop trying to, they're saying things like, you can't pray the gay away. They're saying things like, you're just trying to modify your behavior.
Oh, sorry. There's also one more. There are gay DL people who actually like being DL. So they're not being pulled or pushed in any direction. They actually like the fact and get off on the fact that they have a secret life and they could be caught. So it's not a thing. And also, bisexuality is a thing that he's completely ignoring. Right? And I understand why he would ignore that as a person in the Christian tradition. The problem with Christians and the way that they play the gay demon away is that their engagement reduces everything to a singular spirit, and they don't actually address the amount of nuance that exists in terms of sexuality at all. Magic Johnson's son is a degenerate.
It's always going to be there. God made you this way. Love is love. You're hearing all of this.
Sorry, I need to explain that. I'm not sorry for what I said. I'm going to explain what I'm saying. I think it is disgusting when I sit up here and I hear a man who is gay. I think he identifies as a man, right? I don't remember what he identifies as. I just want to make sure. I think he identifies as a man, so we're going to talk about that. Talk about him from a male perspective. If he doesn't identify as a man, then disregard everything I say. If he identifies as a man, and a gay man at that, And he said that he only dates, because I only read this, I didn't go watch the video. He says he only dates straight men. You're a problem. A gay man who says I only date straight men is a problem, not just for other men, but for women in particular. And the idea that you only date straight men, the only way you know a man's straight if he's dealing with you as a gay man, you believe, quote unquote, he's straight, is if he's with a woman. So it is very strange to me that you would announce to the world that you only date straight men if you identify as a man. That does not make sense. That is insane to me. And it seems predatory, but we don't want to go there. It's giving very much James Charles.
On this side. Then on the other side is like, you're going to hell.
I think he said something like, maybe there was a joking tone to this that I did not quite get, because again, I read it. I think he said when he put on a skirt, he looks better than every woman. I don't want to misquote him, and I won't drag him for that. I will not drag him for that because I do not actually know what was said. So I'll leave that alone. I will leave that alone. But that is absolutely disgusting. That is an absolutely disgusting thing to say. And it's also not true. Outside of not being true, it is disgusting. So I'm just gonna go ahead and ignore it.
You're going to hell.
It's an abomination.
It's an abomination, right? And so you're sitting here like, okay, I don't know which way to go. Because it feels like they're going to accept me if I just go ahead, just give up the ghost and be accepted. And it feels like they're condemning me and I'm not having a way out. I don't have conversation. The parable of the talents talks, not talents, but the parable of the sower talks about different kinds of hearts. It says there's.
Hey, Brianna. Girl, I want to be like you when I grow up. I want to be like you when I grow up. I saw this girl out there playing golf, and I was deep in the work. I was at the office just slaving away like a Hebrew slave girl. I was working, and I looked at my Instagram for 2 seconds, and this girl was out there. This girl was out there playing golf. This was I almost joined the jealous community. I almost joined the jealous community, girl.
A stony ground, thorny ground, wayside, and good ground. And the only difference between, or the main difference between the good ground and these other grounds that did not produce from the seed was that the good ground had understanding. I think the issue is that most of us don't have understanding. So when we go and look for help, I go on TikTok, I go on YouTube to figure out what is this thing, how can I be delivered? Most of the information is coming from these two extreme sides. There's not nobody here who's actually going through it, been through it, have a level of understanding. So when we first started, when we got ready to create the mentorship group, and we just said, okay, we're going to look through the scripture and figure out what it has to say about homosexuality. Well, prior to that, I'm hearing all of these.
I learned Hebrew slave from my barber. I went to get my haircut and I had my computer and I was working, and he was like, "What are you doing this weekend? Anything fun? Where you going?" And I was like, no, not really. I'm just going to go after this. This was like 5 o'clock. I was like, after this, I have to go back to the office and work. And then I'm going to go home. And then I have some work that, to do on Saturday. And he was like, dang, they working you like a Hebrew slave. And the people that were around just started laughing at me. And I didn't, I mean, obviously he was joking, but like I didn't know how to respond. So I just laughed with them.
Arguments and stuff, but I look in the Bible, there's only 5 scriptures and none of them are agreeable with homosexuality.
Wow.
There's just 5 scriptures, bro. 5 of them. And the Old Testament scripture says a man who lays with a man, it's clear, as he does with a woman. It's detestable. That's what it says.
But if you're a man and you're laying with men, I don't think you're laying with men the same way you lay with a woman. So if we really want to get textual with this Bible, it said that The thing that is not okay is if a man lay with another man as he does with a woman. And so I don't think men lay with men. I don't think it's possible to, let's just move on. My reading of the Bible is very textualist, so it's just not giving what they're saying it's given.
So there's a lot of confusion because we don't have anybody here who will say more than it's a sin and you're going to hell. I know that, but tell me how to walk through it. Tell me what the Bible actually says so I can know what to believe. And now tell me, how do I walk from here?
Quick intermission. We didn't plan this, but in the middle of our convo with Pastor Philip, he dropped the word about the power of journaling. Must listen. Check this out.
I could take somebody right now to my journal and let them
Describe yourself as down low, because I think that's what that middle ground is, right? Like the person who is, they're not sure, they're not claiming the identity. So people don't really know this is what they're dealing with or struggling with. And you probably still date men and women at this time because you're still attracted to women throughout this entire process while you're also having this attraction for men, correct? So
don't say, I need you to explain to what extent were you still attracted to women during this process. Don't just say, they're not asking questions, because it felt like he just want to say, I was into the gay scene, but I also loved women, and then skip it. That's it. No. You said you were deep in it. You said you're talking about in it. I want to know how deep in it you were. Let's do that first.
you talk about like that period of download. First of all, how long did that even last in your life? How long were you in that season?
Bro, that was the majority of my life. I don't like to give times though, because I think people.
I don't like to give times. It's wild. I don't like to give times. It's wild. I want to know how long. You look about 55, like a good 55. All right, I'd believe him if he said 55. You said most of your life, and I'm like, Jesus, my finances. Jesus, like, wait.
Like they'll be like, okay, well, how long before I can say that I'm actually delivered? And I don't see in scripture where it gives a time. It says if any man be in Christ. So when you step in Christ, that's when you step in deliverance. All
right, I see what he's saying. He doesn't want to give a time because he still might slip every now and then. He said, I don't want to give a time when you'll be delivered. And to be fair, everyone probably going to be on their own time. If this was real, everyone would probably be on their own timeline. So I'm not even mad at him for that. I'm being messy. But it felt like he might slip and fall. Probably.
But that was the majority of my life, bro.
And give us some context too, because you said you was deep in it.
Yeah.
That phrase is gonna always take me out. That phrase is gonna, because you were deep in it. Oh, my dryer is making noise. I forgot I did lingerie.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, well, just because, we, and you remember that show we talked about our rock bottoms. Yeah. So what's deep in it, give us brief.
Girl, deep in it and our bottoms is wild. Deep in it and our bottoms is wild as a back-to-back sentence. Deep in it and our bottom are two very strange sentences to just push together. Wait, is this actually Storm? Right. I don't know why they get. Hey, Storm, welcome.
So we can understand what is deep in it mean.
So, man, because of the way I was introduced to this thing, it was most of the male interaction that I had all my life. Now I don't know how to do a relationship with another brother. I don't know how to do a relationship with another man. So now sex had became my confidence. It became my coping mechanism. It became my identity. It became all of these things, right? And so,
yeah. How deep were you in it? Thank you for the context, but we're not about to play these games with you.
For years I battled in that, and James talks about, the demon starting small and then it grows and becomes this, vicious demon that.
All right. It's not like he was really deep in it, because the way he is going through all of this to get to, like, we need to know, when you were an adult making choices, how deep were you in it for how long? He's going through all the backstory to get us to how he got into it and how much like, I'm trying to figure out how deep you were in it, girl. We don't need all that backstory and about demons. You don't need to prime us right now.
Devours, and I believe that what started off as a pet demon in the introduction, that thing took over me. Even while loving God, that thing took over me, and I became a perpetuant of that. So, man, I was having setouts. You know what I'm saying? I was introducing guys to guys.
Wow.
I was.
And a set out.
First off,
let's be clear about what a set out is.
I was having set out. I was bringing men I was introducing men to men to have sex. I was doing things like that.
Straight men, or I can't call them a straight man, but men who didn't have prior experience.
Both and, there'd be men who had prior experiences, some men who never had prior experiences before.
If you know anything about just sex culture in general,
wait, was he a pimp? Was he a matchmaker? Like, wait, no, I need them to stop. Sir, middleman hat, I would like to interview you. How do I reach him? I need to find him. I have questions, because I don't get nothing about what them two people got to say. Because how did you become the facilitator for homosexual engagement? Not even random gay men aren't doing this. Like, you were deep in it. When you said you were in it, you were deep in it. Because, like, even gay men aren't just out here, like, introducing men to men and, like, trying to find out who might be gay, who hasn't done this, and trying to, like people just living their regular life. The fact that you're out here having a network, this is giving P. Diddy. This gives a documentary might be dropping soon. This is giving Diddy. I don't know about y'all, but it's definitely giving Diddy for me.
Know what set out mean. So if you was involved in sex culture, whether it was a frat, high political circles,
absolutely.
Set out is when you bring something that's hot and ready to somebody that's hot and ready.
Absolutely.
So I'm just very curious about this, because when you consider that, what did you see, right? Because it's interesting. I think probably even especially men who are in the lifestyle, they can look at a man, even if he's straight,
absolutely,
and probably see something in that man, to know that this is something I would even introduce him to.
He did call being gay it. So when you, me all I walk like a champion, talk like a champion. What a piece of body, girl. Tell me where you get it from. Hot like a mention. Ram pa pa pam pam.
What do you typically see in a man to know that he'll be open to something like this?
Yeah.
How does that look like?
So sometimes you don't know. Now, again, going back to my story, it was every type of man. As a matter of fact, most of the men that I was sexually involved with, none of them had like a twist or a lisp or any of that. These were projected straight men. These were. Okay, good. You should have said that in the beginning, so that idiot 1 and idiot 2 can figure out that even if you're not walking with a twist, quote unquote, you can still be gay. And even if you are feminine presenting, it does not mean you are gay as a man. Now, I'm going to need a number. Just because yesterday we had that lady condemning everyone to hell after 8 abortions, I'm also need a number here. I'm going to need a number here. Even if you don't know the number, girl, it can't be 44. I'm pretty sure it's closer to 1,000. I'm pretty sure his number is closer to 1,000 than 44. And he looked like he's married now. So I now also want to talk to his wife. I'm pretty sure his wife is a God-fearing woman, a God-fearing, low self-esteem woman. Athletes and people who go into jail and criminals, all this.
Wow.
It's so hard to believe, because you hear that.
Yeah.
But I guess visually you only see, like when you're in Atlanta, so you might see the twist.
I was the only one among all of these people that people were looking at and saying he gay, and I'm sitting in my head, but I'm sleeping with him.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Or he's reaching out to me.
Wow.
You get what I'm saying? So I forgot what.
There was a little too much pride there was a little too much. There's a little too much pride in he can't be straight because I'm sleeping with him. There was a little like there was a little too much pride in it. There was yeah.
Where was going from here?
No, so what did I ask?
Let me tell you something. I'm so blown away by the
What did you
testimony.
see? What did you see?
What
in
I
the
see?
scripture?
Yeah.
What did you see?
So a lot of times, man, I'm about to expose the devil.
Wow.
A lot of times it's in the gaze of the eye. It's in the gaze of the eye. I look at you, you look at me. I look away. I look back at you, you looking back at me. We look away. I look back, we looking, and we look for a longer period of time. Then that's the head nod. It's like, okay, what's up?
It's a head nod.
This is new to me. This is new. I'm unaware of this gay language. I'm very unaware of this gay language because this is wild. This feels like a community. This feels like a very specific bubble. Like this is a bubble specific kind of engagement. This is about group of men who sleep with men who are with women. It is a language that you would only know if you're a part of a very specific community of men who are sleeping with men on the DL and are hiding it from the woman that they're with. Because it's DL language. Yeah, but it's not only just DL language. It feels like a very specific, localized DL language. We never got through it. No, I'm not going to tell that. It's too late. One of my first barbers, unfortunately, this was in Atlanta. One of my first barbers, when I went and I got my hair cut, there's an intimate way that they were like, the way they cut my hair, held my face, like pushed themselves on me. It felt uncomfortable, and his wife was in there. Nothing happened, but it did feel, I don't like telling the story because I felt uncomfortable. So I didn't know what was happening, but it felt very sexual. And so I never went back, but that's not a real story to tell because I don't know if I was just overthinking or just afraid or whatever. So I don't know, but it was very disgusting. It was a very disgusting experience. So that's that on that. And it's not the homosexual bit that was disgusting. It is the sexual assault and intimidation bit that I thought was clear.
The same thing. I mean, we do that with women too. So that makes sense. Like, eye contact with a woman, you see her, continuously.
Absolutely.
I get that.
And wow. Now you got me have me scared to look at anybody.
First of all, I already told you that.
No, Rich, you got me scared. No, man,
because in Atlanta, listen, it's all over the city.
Right, you look up,
and
somebody
you
look at
already
know.
They already looking at you. Already.
So here's the thing.
If you make it to the head, it's a wrap. So.
Here's the thing.
I hope that's not true. I hope this is actually not true because I've done. So I smile at people when they smile at me, man or woman, I don't really care. And if I'm walking and someone look at me and they go like that, I do it back. Hello. Wait, what if I was speaking a different language that I don't know about? Because like if I'm walking and you do the thing there, particularly if you're a black guy in a room of like a bunch of other races and it's only you and I as a black person and you do this, like I'm gonna do it back. So y'all telling me that I was that's wild. That's wild. Y'all telling me I'm out here just giving off signals, girl. Period. Bluetooth connection to the network.
Straight dudes swear that all gay dudes and DL dudes be hitting on them. And sometimes they don't even be that, bro. It be the straight dudes projecting. Because, in many cases, I'm really trying to figure out, can I find a friend that is not sexual?
Wow.
Can
it be that?
You're long.
So you still want a friend? You still
he just identified with his sexuality in real time. By othering himself from quote unquote straight dudes, he is just identified with his sexuality. And I wondered if any of them picked up on that just now. I mean, he married, so that wife hopefully picked up on that. I'm assuming he's married to a woman.
Still wanted male companionship that you could just be cool with.
Absolutely. I needed somebody that I knew wasn't going to want to have sex with me. I wanted friends that did not want this for me, you know? And look, I'm not trying to make myself look like no angel or nothing. You know what I'm saying? I did my work. I'm just speaking from this perspective.
Understood.
But yeah, yeah.
Oh, I would want to know what that means when you did your work. See, oh my God. When you say I did my work, he's explaining that there were engagement he had for sex, like he wanted that kind of engagement, right? And then there were others that, well, he just wanted to be friends, period. I'm going to ask about the ones that you wanted. And the thing I want to know about that is, where was the Spirit of God? And also, how did you feel about that? The conversation is not mind-blowing. These two idiots don't know what they're doing. Two idiots don't know what they're doing. It's so sad because they gave over their channel to this woman who is miles ahead of them. And she's doing a series. She did a talk where she's attempting to hold the church accountable. And she's my type of Christian, it seems. And she's talking about the ways in which the church has allowed for degeneracy to thrive, right? And be protected. And it's very well done, but no one is watching it because they've created a channel of degenerates and low self-esteem women who are going there to be told that they will find the love of their life if they play a dusty card game. And that group of people do not know how to engage with a woman who's smart. Right. He act like gay dudes don't have platonic. Right.
And so it wasn't always that. You know, but then when we would try to find community and, you know, the straight guys or whatever would, you know, turn away or look at us with disgust or, you know, start laughing when we're walking by, you leave us, man of God, to have to go and find community elsewhere. Because now you're not man enough to be able to be a brother to somebody who deals with same-sex attraction.
Wow.
That's even me, man, as a straight man myself, I wouldn't want to be around a lot of gay men. I don't desire to be around a ton of gay men. And even I feel like when it comes to particularly young men, when I see young men or just men in general at this point, you know, I'm 32 years old. So I feel like it's just certain things I can pour into a man and we can exchange to build. But I would say that's just something, even myself, when I see a gay man, I don't think it's time to minister to this brother. Now, if I see a brother who's down and out, if I see a brother who's lost in purpose, if I see a brother who's broke, if I see a brother who's dealing with relationship problems, all these plethora of issues, I see, you know what, this, I can pour into this brother. I can build this brother up. Yeah. I can bring this brother under my wing. I do not think about that when I see a homosexual.
Why? Ask him why. Also, if the pouring into a gay man is trying to change his sexuality, then you probably should stay away from him because that's wild. But I would actually want to know why. If I were person in the middle with a hat, I would ask, why is that? If you believe you are doing God's work, why is it that this thing that you perceive to be a sin isn't something that you would want to address? Are you afraid of the gay demon? You're not afraid of the cheating demon. You're not afraid of the drinking demon. You're not afraid of the abuse demon. You're not afraid of the murder demon. You're not afraid of the robbery demon, but you're afraid of the gay demon. Like, I would want to know why. I would ask, you know what I mean? Just for gigs.
Sexual brother.
Even though you experience issues with lust, you don't look at homosexuality as the same.
I don't see it as the same.
Yeah, and we have to stop doing that, man. We look at
no, we don't stop. Ask why. Get to their response before you get to whatever you are going through. They're terrified of it. Why? Let's unpack that. Let's talk about how the church demonizes homosexuality. Let's do that. Because you can beat your wife, you can kill people, you can do all those things, and you will not be demonized in the way that you're demonized when you're gay. Let's talk about it, right? Unless you're Catholic, I thought all sins were equal. And last time I checked, none of y'all dusties were Catholic. So, oh yeah, they can beat women. They can beat women down to the. No, I already know the answer. I'm not asking because I do not know the answer. I want them to explain it to me.
Homosexuality as, the abomination above all abominations. We did a research, bro. If you look at scripture, Old Testament and New Testament, I think there's like over 70 abominations listed. Some of it has to do with, doing dishonest scales, business practices. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, in that case, if we're looking at abomination, if you cheat on your taxes, you're going to be standing right next to the homosexual. You know what I'm saying? So I think we got to just remove that from being a capital sin and see it as a sin expression. And so just like the brother who's down and out with whatever else you were mentioning, also the brother who deals with same-sex attraction needs community, right? And don't look at the community like a needy community. It's just a community. My story is not a sad story, right? My story is my story. So let my story be my story. You have your story, and let's do what brothers do. Brothers in Christ actually do. Let's have community. Let's have conversation. Let's encourage one another in the Lord.
Wow.
That makes sense.
Let me ask you this: when it comes to, because you mentioned the set out, the reason that stuck, I have not even heard that word in a long time, because I've been when I say sex culture, because prior to even last year, I was still in the streets.
Slave.
Right.
He's still in the streets. No tea him. He's still in the streets. He looked like the street. Actually, he looked like the street ran on. Just been through it. Other guy said he was 32, and I'm like, girl. So, they do look stressed out. It's probably hard to run a podcast where they have to show up every day and give nothing. Like Hillary Duff, girl, they show up on stage and give nothing. Mind you, Hillary Duff's new album is fire. You should listen to the song called Mature. I've been playing that nonstop, and you will not let me dislike that song.
But I had my own little sex culture going, what I'm saying? But not in the wolf pack kind of like, this what everybody is doing this. So even that phrase I had not heard since really a couple years removed from college, because when I was in my frat, I was in that, because you can indulge or experience any part of the fraternity you want to. Mm-hmm. You can do the guy right where all you do.
Oh, please do, and come back and let me know how you feel. Listen to Mature first, and also Roommate, but Mature, like something about the song Eats, and it's thinking about being a white girl, I think. It is thinking about being a white girl. So I don't know why I like that song, but the angst, tangent. You know how pop culture and the pop girls are all singing about being young and in love and first love. Taylor Swift, at like nearly 40, she's still singing about teenage dream, and you wear short shirt, she wears sneakers and blah, blah, blah. Hillary Duff is actually talking about like what it is like to be going through a divorce, or like being like aging, and the man she's in love with choosing someone younger. I don't know why, but she makes it work, and it's really good. It's like grown-up pop. I like it. I thought it was good for what it is, because she can't sing, so there's that.
Doing is helping other people. You're doing community service. You could do the strolling and activities where you perform all the step shows, doing all the strolls, and they got this really dark side,
absolutely,
where you can do partying and sex. And set out was a big word. Like that was like the goal for you to set out somebody for the next person. Yeah. And what I wanted to ask you, because I remember being a part of that lifestyle, and when I think about
that is not shade. That is an actual fact. That's a fact. Y'all play too much.
Homosexuality, I think of the same thing. I assume when I meet a man, particularly, that's homosexuality, I automatically assume, oh, this dude, he's just smashing. Who knows? He might have just left the bathroom just now before he pulled up. So, is that accurate? Does promiscuity automatically come with homosexual lifestyle?
Man, such a great question. So everybody's story is different. So I just shared mine, and a lot of people do identify with my story. But
no, you were out there in these streets. Not everyone who is gay is out there sleeping with everyone. So please make it clear that whatever homosexual spirit you had you out there going to bathhouses, doing all kinds of flipping and flopping with whomever, wherever, whenever. That was you thinking that you were in a Shakira video talking about wherever, whenever, whatever. It does not matter. You're lying if you say anything outside of the fact that you were doing what you wanted to do. And what you wanted to do was that promiscuity that you were talking about earlier. That's on you, fully on you. Fully on you. Yo, friend, if you're watching, I apologize. I do have a friend who said he's waiting till marriage to have sex. He's gay. And every time he says this, I make me laugh because you can have your own principles, girl. I'm just looking at him like, girl, now, why? I'm not saying don't do it, like, period, eat down, like you. No. I'm supportive. I'm supportive. I'm just saying. I'm just bringing that up to say some gay men aren't out here sleeping around. No. I'm only saying. I'm actually using him as a good example. Y'all stop. I'm trying to use him as an example of like a gay man being a gay man said he's waiting to marry a girl. And I believe him. I believe him. I'm like, girl, period. Girl, period. Period. You better think you're gonna be pure. Period. I support him though. I support him.
But it's not everybody's story.
Wow.
You know, I was desensitized. It was normalized. It was culture. So whereas people look at it and see it detestable, to me, you know, hey, you know, this, I got this from my pastor. I got this, not my pastor, but I got this from a pastor. I got this from the guy next door. I got this from my dad, the man my dad's age. I got this from the.
No, Natasha. Now you know when he said he's not doing that before, you know he means he defined it in a very. I don't know this as a fact, but I do know this as a fact. I'm gonna stop putting people business out there. I'm gonna just go ahead and ask. I'm not gonna text him that. I'm gonna ask how he defines that.
Athletes, I got this from the dude in the street who got the baby mamas, right? So I was desensitized. And so to me, that became culture. But no, that's not the case for everybody. You know, right now I'm mentoring brothers and these stories are so unique. And some of them just have the attraction, but they never had sex. Some of them are a little bit more feminine than others. And you would look at them and assume, oh man, they smashing, they on the apps, and they're not.
All right, riddle me this, and I am so sorry. A group of men who have same-sex attraction are being ministered to in the same vicinity. Okay, better. Let me give a real example. You know those conversion camps? You remember when it came out that everyone was like sleeping with everyone at these conversion camps? What confused me is how people were confused that them sending a bunch of children and children, because from 17 to like 21, to me, you're still a child, right? But let's just say young adults, if you want that. They were at camp with men who were ex-gay, and they were isolated from everyone. So a bunch of men are going to camp with same-sex attracted feelings and no supervision to convert from homosexuality. And y'all All right, girl. If you don't think that's
They've never done anything, never been with anybody. They're just trying to figure out why they feel the way they do and why they act the way they act. They just want some answers. So no, that is not. Now it's prevalent in the community. I'm not gonna lie. You got cruising, you got all of that stuff, right? In the community, it's there. So let me not, I don't want to act like it's not there, but it's not everybody's case.
Wow.
It's not everybody's case.
And I want to do this real quick for you. Ask your next question because you mentioned the guys that you're working with. So guys, we got something very special. Reginald and his team have hooked us up with an entire scholarship, guys, an entire scholarship. So we on the way up. And I'm gonna let Reginald talk about it a bit, but he's doing an amazing cohort. I want to say you're only taking 25 people.
25 people per cohort.
All right. For all the people who are in my chat who are gay, drop a 1. I'm going to send you on whatever this is, and you can report back to me. If you want one person, actually, I'll select if y'all want, what do y'all want to go undercover? You know what? Maybe I should try to. Y'all want to. I want to send you on this retreat with and y'all come back and report to me. Yeah, y'all want to do this? I'll send y'all on this. It looks like a conversion camp. Imagine me sending someone to a conversion camp. Let's not even put that out there. I'll go and report back. I'm going to go and report back to y'all. Let's look I'm going to look into this.
5 people. So this is the thing. This means it's exclusive. Exclusive, not just so you can hurry up and rush to sign up, but exclusive because he wants to make sure he does not take any more people that won't be able to get transformation. And you've done this plenty of times before, so you've identified that 20, 25 people mark is exactly what you need to get that transformation.
It's a good point. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, look, I'm gonna let him tell y'all about it, but already because y'all missed it before the show. I can tell you that if you having issues with homosexuality, I'm gonna just throw in lust, sexual immorality in general. You think you might have an issue. Somebody told you that you might have an issue.
Even if they know my face, I can be going in there for research purpose, and the Lord touched my heart. Like the Lord is all powerful. Like it should not stop them. They should not prevent me from going in there because I might be wanting to do research. I'm gonna apply. I'm literally going to apply right after this. And I'm going to, if they're still open, because he said for 25 people, I'm sure he lying. I am sure he is lying, talking about 25 people. He about to open that seminar up. So I'm about to go. I'm going to, what if I inbox him and he thinks I'm going to inbox him and say, hey, I want to be a part of that 25 men thing that you were doing. Let me do it. I'm not signing any confidentiality, anything. I want to be able to come out and tell y'all my testimony. Oh, that's a good angle. I'm going to be like, hey, I cannot sign for confidentiality. I need to be able to go witness to my fellow brothers. So, period.
You need to invest in this program, but I'm gonna let Reginald talk about it for a bit.
Yeah, first let me talk about the start. So when I was 12 years old, God showed me that I would be doing transformational work in the lives of other men and women. I told God, if you make me this man that you're showing me that I'm going to be, I vow to be for others who I never had. So this mentorship group is an extension of my vow to God to be for other brothers.
You want to know how I know this is some foolishness? God ain't talk to these men. We know God ain't talking to these Christian men because they're all lying. So this can be a setup for him, for real. Because we know for a fact God did not tell this man any of this. So it's a problem.
Who I, in many cases, never had. Brandon, we started in May after I shared my.
God told him how to not be gay, but there are kids dying all over the world that God ain't care nothing about. Really? Absolutely not, girl. Get out of my face.
Testimony with Pastor Ezekiel. We got a great demand. Over 300 guys joined the WhatsApp. I got about 300 DMs of guys asking for mentorship and counsel. And so we had to create something. I partnered with my brother, Pastor Zaire. we stayed up and we figured out how can we curate an environment and an experience for men just to help them to, one, find community, two, have courageous conversation, and three, continue to excavate to discover their identity in Christ. And so what we came up with was an 8-week mentorship intensive called Brand New You. Through that mentorship intensive, we answer a whole lot of hard questions. We bring guys into the community. It is an intensive program. It's a lot of digging, a lot of excavating. A lot of guys say, I go to therapy and I don't get this in therapy. I don't get this in counseling. Mm-hmm. The community is self-healing. We do our due diligence in making sure that it's a safe space, it's protected. We don't have no wolves in the community, and I bless God for that. And so it's a transformative experience. And so we just created it for guys like us, guys who deal with same-sex attraction, but have a conviction that this is not the way that God's designed for them to live, and they just need to find a space where they can share their experience.
I'm gonna read y'all something real quick. Let me read y'all something that someone posted online that's important for you all to understand. No context at all. I'm just gonna go ahead and read. No context. It says, good friend of mine is gay. He told me a while ago that he thinks I'm attractive, but never made it weird or anything. New Year's, the last year he doesn't have a date. So midnight comes, I kiss my girlfriend, and I see him standing by himself looking kind of sad. So I walked up to him, grabbed his neck, grabbed his head, and then in parentheses, they said, not his penis, and kissed him right on the mouth, right? Other guy says, I can't actually read this one out loud. Here I go, girl. I know a Marine like this. We were friends since we were young, 17, and after his first tour, he came home and the two of us hooked up. It was his first time. When he came back from his second tour, he told me that it was hard not to think of how much easier it would be if him and the rest of the dogs, the Marine, could get each other off and just go about their business. When he got married, he and his wife and I would all sleep together. It was there's a lot more. These are posts on straight dudes of Reddit. These are men who claim to be straight posting their experiences with men on Reddit. And it is a wild. This is a wild. I'm not going to tell you who sent this to me. I'm not going to tell you who sent this to me, but this is absolutely insane. There is a bunch of men who claim that they're straight doing a bunch of things that are very, very strange. And they're just willingly sharing their stories on here. So that's that on that. Let's get back to this video.
Where they can find some answers.
Okay, so listen, the link is in the description. I want y'all to click on that to go ahead and register. And the thing is, what you're registering for is an opportunity to win the raffle for the scholarship. Now,
I need... Let me check the group chat. Because it's either... Well, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not right. Everyone knows. If Kilo is asleep, I think Kilo went to bed because she has something to do tomorrow. Girl, don't tell her I told y'all. Just don't tell her I told y'all.
Keep in mind, if you don't win the raffle for the scholarship, that's not a big deal, guys, because Reginald, once you go through the page, is going to show you how to register for the program. Yeah. But we are giving one scholarship away. So if you are in need, please do not hesitate to click the link in the...
Are they not going to tell us how much this costs? Because if it's under $50, I'm doing it. If it's over $50, I'm not doing it.
Bio, so you can go ahead and connect with these brothers.
Yeah. There you have it.
Go ahead,
no, that's great, man. I'm happy we was able to give that to the people. In fact, I want to continue to expose homosexuality and how it attacks our community, because we did an episode.
Homosexuality is the thing attacking your community? Really? You really think homosexuality is the thing that is attacking your community? All right, girl. All right, go ahead and expose homosexuality. Not gang violence, not white supremacy, none of that. Homosexuality is a thing attacking your community. I'm assuming his community is bald head men. Like, I'm assuming bald head man is his community. I'm sorry to all my bald head guys in the chat. It's a descriptor for him.
So in the past, and we talked about the principalities that homosexuality has. You see that you can see that even
Girl, I tried. It is definitely not unemployment or violence.
around the country, sin is just more dominant. It has some is just, you look at certain cities, they have very specific struggles.
Yeah.
Right. Atlanta in particular, it has now built a reputation to be known to struggle with homosexuality. And I caught some slack for this, but I was even talking to Ryan about this before the show. On one of the past shows, I talked about how I don't want my daughter playing girls basketball because I just see a pattern of it seeming like it'd be some kind of spirit of homosexuality going on in girls basketball.
Yeah.
You don't want your daughter to play girls basketball because you think that there's a spirit of homosexuality in girls basketball. This is a legitimate position he's having right now. This is like an actual position he holds right now. One, he does not like to engage with gay men, gay people. Two, he has a daughter, does not seem like he's married, but nothing about sex before marriage. None of that. They're not engaging in that conversation. That, I don't know, I can't see that ring. Maybe he's married and I can't see it, but it don't look like he's married, but we'll see. Maybe he is married. But none of that. But you're going to stop your daughter from playing a sport because of the spirit of homosexuality. Got it.
Like typically when you look at a lot of these high schools.
Okay, I see no ring. I see no ring. Maybe he's talking about a potential daughter in the future. He's speaking as if he has a daughter currently, but he could be speaking about a daughter in the future. Yeah, that's the problem. Because we have idiots like this in the community thinking that they're contributing meaningfully to a conversation is why we probably have the community that we have. Instead of trying to build something, talk about a job application, talk about the unemployment, the wealth gap, the white supremacist system, like all fatherlessness, because they love going to that one. Instead of talking about that, they're up here talking about homosexuality attacking a community, girl, period.
In many of the ones that I'm familiar with, not a lot of black high schools, if we being specific, like the girls basketball team is like kind of the hub of where a lot of that lesbian culture is going down.
Yeah.
And I know
not SADV, white supremacy, poverty, absent father. They only fight women here, weaves in homosexuality. Yeah. The thing is, this is not to change their minds, and the people who are watching me, who are steeped in religion, will not care because they see me, for example, because everyone come up here and call me a fruitcake, and they see the spirit of homosexuality. One of the most telling, part of why I don't talk about like any real community issue in terms of sexuality, whether that be lesbianism, gay, whatever it is. I watched a bunch of mothers, black mothers, on TikTok, and I think this was on somewhere on YouTube. I should find it, but I'm not going to react to it, so I don't need to find it. And they were asking, would you prefer your son be a successful doctor, I think it was, but gay, or a murderer who goes to prison? Like, which one would you prefer? And they all, I don't know if this is because of how it was edited or who asked, they all said they prefer their son to be a murderer and go to prison. And my blood ran cold. For a moment, I felt like I looked into how deeply problematic religion in particular have been. Because what you are saying is that you would prefer a culture with a bunch of men in prison who cannot provide than a thriving community where your children and our child, singular, would be able to financially take care of you and themselves in the future because you're so worried about their sexuality. That, I don't know, for me, that was a profound awakening about homophobia. And I've already linked homophobia to low IQ. I've already linked homophobia to low IQ. And I do believe there are a certain group of people, even within the Black community, that it's not, this is going to sound real elitist and I apologize, it's not even worth engaging with. If you believe how you believe, I am not about to change your mind. Hopefully I can change your mind to become feminist, but if you're homophobic, girl, I'm not trying to change your mind. Keep being you. Just let me know in advance so I can know to not give you anything too hard mentally. Just let me know so I know not to give you anything mentally rigorous, girl, period. Thank you, the sweetest tea.
A lot of the ladies that tell me some stories of what's going on at the slumber parties, on the bus too, or from the game,
the hotel.
It's a lot going down. Is it true that homosexuality can have a stronger presence, or the spirit can be more prominent in certain cultures, environments, cities, and even programs?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You mentioned principalities. There's a principle. That principle enforces certain types of rules and structures, and that principle ensures that the people who live in that community.
Name a place where the homosexuality spirit is less, and I'll give you a place where they are fully gay. Where would 100% Atlanta? I mean, to be fair, if there's any place in the world that the homosexual spirit is strong, it's Atlanta. But, and however, there is no group or activity or place that you can point to that you can say the homosexual spirit is not there, right? So, like, football would be the most masculine. You know what? Let me leave the football people alone. Like, I need you to name a place where the homosexual spirit is not strong, and I'll show you a bunch of down low men.
Operate in that organization, continue on with whatever that principle is. So when you talk about homosexuality, the principality is, the spirit of homosexuality, right? So it can live in different experiences. But man, what I'm realizing is, especially now as the world is continuing to evolve and continuing to change, for example, if I was a kid a kid in this age, I don't know if my story would have turned out the same way that it has now, because,
Wow.
I'm in the 90s, right? So you can't be gay in the 90s. Now it's like embraced and it's accepted. So you have somebody who deal with same-sex attraction, the easier way for many of them is to just go ahead and go along with that affirmation. What I've learned we have to do, especially with our kids, I'm glad you brought this up.
Period nails. You can't see the nail polish from there, but period. Nothing wrong with the nail polish, by the way. I am wondering if he is gay and completely hiding it, or just feminine and hiding it. And in fact, because I'm trying to understand him, right? I'm trying to understand a very specific thing, which is I do believe that a man, can probably believe himself to be gay because of his childhood, and then realize, oh, I'm bi, or I'm actually into women, and I believed I was into men because everyone told me I was into men. I can accept that, right? I can't take him seriously. What I don't know if he's that, or if he's actually pretending to be straight. I don't know which one it is. Yeah, hiding his sexuality. I do believe I do believe that people can be pushed into liking or thinking they like one thing or another. I do believe that. I do fully believe that. But for him, I don't know which it is. I don't know if he's a gay man pretending to be straight, or if he was a straight, well, I don't know if you call him straight, if he was a man who, because of his experiences, thought he was into men and found out he wasn't. And that's why his very specific stories about engagement with men would be of importance to me in that analysis. He's fighting it too hard.
My son came to me the other day. He said he saw a video of a man who did one of those homosexual transformation videos. So he was wearing like a dress at first, and then it goes on to seeing him look, like this macho guy, whatever. And so my son said he was looking at the comments because he knows my testimony.
That's not a homosexual transformation. You can be more masculine in your presentation and still be fully blown gay. Yeah, you can be fully, like, you can completely change your clothes, whatever, and still be fully gay. I don't know.
So he was looking at the comments and he was saying people were saying that he can't change himself, so on and so forth. And so we actually have a journal that we give the brothers who are in the mentorship intensive. I said, look at chapter 1, and in that chapter you'll be able to see through scripture how God is able to transform the life of a person who deals with homosexuality. So I'm saying all of this to say,
hey V, hey, hugs, lots of hugs. Tell your sister I said, hey girl, hey. I know she's on a break, but tell her I said hello and I'm thinking of her.
that I think even if you let your daughter play basketball, because I don't know if you should shun her from that, because that may be an area of gifting just as much as I'm a man in music. I think you should just be present. I think you should train her up in the right way. I think you should give her understanding according to the word of God. And then from there, you should trust God to govern her life as much as you trust God to govern yours.
Interesting. Do you see that too, by the way? Am I reaching, or have you also saw that in particular in girls basketball?
Absolutely. Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, there's certain places where it happens, right?
Right.
But I do think
he's lying. When you say girls basketball, what you're saying is that there are places where he just said it happens, but what you don't highlight is that there are places that you think it doesn't happen where it is way more prevalent. And it is odd to me that a man who's talking about being DL would not highlight the places where you think it's not happening is where it's actually really happening. I mean, now everyone knows about prison, so that's, I mean.
That sometimes God will raise up life. I don't believe God made my life the way he made it. I don't believe he made all those experiences happen the way that they happen, but I do believe that he can make everything work for the good. And so now he has an agent who's actually walked through it, right? Who is now able to be a beacon of light. And so, for example, your daughter, if she played basketball.
Okay, period. God did not make me go through those bad experiences, but God is going to use me going through them bad experiences to have an agent that can fight in those spaces, period. Could he have stopped all of that from happening to you? The answer is yes. And he did not. So while he did not make it happen to you, he did allow it to happen to you. While he did not do it to you, he allowed it to happen to you. Therefore, in making you his warrior, imagine a father that can prevent you from being harmed, but allow you to be harmed. And then at the other point of that harm says to you, well, I allowed you to be harmed. Now you are stronger for it. And so now I can use you to do what I want you to do. How would you engage with that father? His theology does not actually make sense. His theology, as it relates to God, does not really make sense. Might as well have done it to me yourself if you could have stopped it, but you allowed it to happen. My theology is not this, by the way. I am still Christian, but this is not my theology. I probably shouldn't be saying Christian. I am Christian because I do believe in the Christian God. I just don't believe in the Christian God the way these people do. And I very rarely reference the Bible in terms of my own. Well, a lot of people will call me a heretic, so it is what it is. I don't really care.
Basketball could be the beacon of light in the women's basketball team. So the opposite of being concerned about her being turned out would be her being a light and introducing others to Christ. Because God will have agents everywhere, in every mountain, even in Hollywood.
Also, for these people to have the fear that they have in their engagement with humanity, they have to reduce God so much that they would limit his power. They are not Christians. If you are preventing your daughter from playing sports because of a homosexual spirit, right? Remember, God went into, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. You don't believe in the power of God. All of these people are lying. Even that lady that was praying for her husband and followed her husband, y'all do not believe. Because if you believe, you would not be worried about what the world is going to do to you, because you have God on your side. You have to absolutely limit the power of God for you to be this anxious and useless and limiting your child's potential. You gonna stop your child from playing basketball because you're afraid of the spirit of homosexuality? So you're afraid of the spirit. I thought God could command all spirits. Please get out of my face. Again, I'm just gonna say this and move on. The theology here does not make sense. It is the same with the Alibet Stockies and the conservative religion, where Calvinism in particular, where they believe in like the preordained predestination foolishness. And the way that they engage it is that everything happens for the good of God and that everything is predestined and God has his elect, so you don't have to worry with the world. But they're fighting to tell you how to vote, when to vote, what to vote for, and they're fighting against an evil. And that does not make sense, while also believe everything has been predestined and everything will work out for the good of God and the glory of God, and you don't have to do anything. Why are you so actively engaged in politics if you believe that theology? You useless, weak, and nothing a B word.
He needs them there.
You know, I did say, you know, it is important that we be in the light, penetrate these industries.
Absolutely.
And not run away from these industries. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if I want my daughter.
I get it, bro. I get it. You may have to be a booster parent or something. You know what I'm saying?
Right. You don't know if you want your daughter doing it. You don't know if you can believe in the power of God as it applies to your daughter. Period. You limited God's power. You're not a Christian. You're a heretic. You're useless. Next question.
You're on the plane with him, you know.
I'm the coach. I'm coaching that team.
And that makes a difference too, man. Because these people know when parents are in the kids' lives.
Yeah,
they're not gonna be messing with parents when they see daddy showing up for games and stuff.
All right, no, I retract that. I got a coach. If she want to play basketball, y'all gonna see me with a whistle and some stripes on. All right.
Yeah, man.
Man, Reggie, you really helping us to really expose this thing and really get understanding. I want to go back to the down low, just because you know that the ladies are concerned about dating men on the down low.
I'm glad you brought that.
I am sure every single woman this man, no teeth at the corner, has dated, has worried about whether or not he's DL. I'm sure of it. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I'm sure that he is personally affected by the down low spirit insofar as people projecting it onto him. Not that he actually has it or that he is. I don't know nothing about this man. Okay, so now we are part of the conversation that I wanted to hear. Go forth. Let us know about the homosexual spirit.
Up, bro. Yeah. I want to say to the person, wait, you didn't even ask your question.
No. Say what you got to say.
I just want to say to the brother who's dealing with same-sex attraction and wants to be married, man, you know, be careful that you're not getting married, especially too soon, just because it's the way of, you know, religion or the way that society or church tells you that you need to go, bro. You got to heal. You got to heal and try not to bring a woman into that experience, because some of us brothers get a bad rep, you know, when we didn't intend.
No. Let me let him finish. This is not a bad rep. This is a rep you deserve. When you're cheating on women, when you're sleeping with men with your wife at home, you deserve that rep. But maybe that's not what he's about to say. Talking about some of us brothers have a bad rep. When you're talking about these men were with their women and you look at them because you knew you were sleeping with them, and none of these two idiots have asked you about how many men you've slept with who had wives at home. How about that? None of them has asked you that question yet, which is that is such a strange thing to do, to talk up to a man who is talking about the DL spirit, and we are not talking at all about the abuse of women in these kinds of engagement at all. It has not come up, not even once.
to get married to cover up for the homosexuality, and we didn't intend to get married to have another private life. Some people intentionally got married and they said, hey, this is my way. If I get married, I have my wife, I can sleep with her, and then I won't have this issue anymore. Not realizing that if they don't really confront it and deal with it, that issue might pop back up.
Mm-hmm.
So
How did they get a bad rep? If they're out there cheating on their wife, how is it a bad rep? It seems like a rep well deserved. I do not care why you're cheating on your wife. I actually don't care who you're cheating on your wife with, to be quite frank, a man or a woman. That is absolutely insane. Oh, you married before you were ready. Sucks to suck. Suck it up, buttercup. You now have a commitment. Ain't nobody trying to make you out to be the victim. You are not the victim. You're not about to be out here cheating on your wife after you're married. And you're like, oh my God, I thought I was doing the right thing. You have to get some grace. They get a bad rep. You did not get a bad rep. You're weak, ain't nothing, a B word when you're out there cheating on your wife. You're useless. Yes. Like, what do you mean they get a bad rep? Are you dumb? Oh, you're looking for grace and sympathy. There's none here. That lady said God's grace was running out. That's probably, she was probably talking to y'all. Yeah, well, she was probably talking to y'all.
to those men, I just want to say I see you, and I'm just encouraging you to find your way to healing and to deliverance. To the woman that's already married,
Find your way to the court and divorce that woman immediately. If you can hear my voice and you struggle with the spirit of cheatation and homosexuality, actually, it doesn't have to be homosexuality. If you're struggling with cheating, find your way to the spirit of the courthouse, get that spirit of divorce all up in you and execute. Ain't nobody got time for you to be sitting around here cheating on people. Talking about, I feel you, I see you. Ain't nobody feel nothing, ain't nobody see nothing. You need to leave. Leave that woman alone. Like, ew. I hate these people. They are forever victims. Whenever they're doing these absolute degenerate behavior, when they're engaging in some of the most toxic degenerate behaviors, they're sitting up here talking about, oh my God, I see you. We're brothers. We're going to get through it. We're fighting a spirit. It's not a spirit. You're a cheating, useless man. That's what you are. You are cheating. You are intentionally engaging in bad behavior. You are intentionally deceiving. You're intentionally abusing someone. You're intentionally opening someone up to all kinds of diseases. And no, I'm not just talking about homosexuality. I'm talking about any kind of cheating. It is wild for you to make a human decision and then come up here and blame everything but yourself for how degenerate you were. When you were sleeping with that woman's husband, that was a you problem. That was not a spirit problem. The devil did not come into you, Mr. Hat Freckles, talking about go sleep with that woman's man. Absolutely no spirit told you to do that. You wanted to do that. You decided to go and sleep with that woman's husband. That woman's husband decided to go sleep with some man. That is not a spirit. That is you being degenerate. Respectfully, a fruitcake. Actually, disrespectfully, a fruitcake. Ugh. The spirit of homosexuality. Gay men aren't out here sleeping around with other people and cheating. I mean, to be fair, probably most of them cheating, girl. It is what it is. But because you're gay doesn't mean you're cheating or sleeping with someone's husband. That was a you problem.
to a man who deals with same-sex attraction or homosexuality, I don't even know why I said this, because this probably going, but that's a whole conversation. I don't even know how to, I think I'm gonna
Talk to her. Please, talk to her.
It's a very nuanced conversation.
It's not nuance. It is not nuance. You do not have to be cheating. If you are with a woman and you feel attracted to another woman, you don't have to sleep with her. If you're with a woman and you're attracted to a man, you do not have to sleep with him. Now, do you? It is not nuance. Do not cheat. Very simple. And if you are telling that woman, if you are going to talk to women right now and you are going to say anything but divorce him, we're going to have a problem. It's not that nuance. Let's see if he tell women to go be the sacrificial lamb. Let's hear.
It's very nuanced. I believe that there are certain women who are graced for men, who may have dealt with same-sex attraction. But I'm not saying that I believe that those women should take abuse and stay in relationships where they are, cheated on and, done wrong. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that, you're looking at a man.
But now be a doormat, but take abuse, but stay. You're not saying that they should take abuse, but now you're going to give them an excuse for why they should take abuse, you degenerate, disgusting, useless man. Why is it that y'all always put women at your dusty, disgusting feet for you to step on them in order to self-actualize? Like, why would you do that? Why not tell these men not to get married and tell these men not to cheat? And if they cheat, the women should leave. Why are you telling women to give grace to these men who are in fact abusing them? Like, that's wild. Like, I'm okay for a little ha ha he he, right? And we can talk about, DL man, blah, 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 whatever. As soon as you start engaging with women, you now have a responsibility. If you are with a woman, actually, if you're with a man either, you now have a responsibility to that person. You don't get to go out there and cheat. And anytime you cheat, you've lost all ability to tell someone to stick around. Even the Bible allows for divorce for infidelity. Even the Bible gives you an out of a dusty marriage when the man is cheating. So it is wild to me that these degenerates will take cheating and say, but because he was gay. Even there's a lot of people, I remember this ended a friendship in uni. One of our professors who had children came out at 40 something girl, I don't know. And he told the class that he was gay and he had divorced his wife and left his children or whatever. I heard there was cheating happening, right? Didn't verify because I'm not talking. We're at lunch and one of the guys was like, oh my God, he's so brave. It is so difficult to come out. And I'm trying to figure out what part of this was brave. I get it. It wasn't the easiest time for a lot of people when they were young, growing up, whatever. You decided to get married. You decided to cheat on your wife in that marriage. You decided to drag children into this marriage. And then you are going to leave this woman after you've wasted over 20, probably 30 years of this woman's life. You are going to come out and leave her out there to now go figure out life by herself while you go out in these streets and zip it and do it. I would think you were better off if you stayed in the closet, girl. Absolutely not. Because you're going to piss me off. So she now at, I don't know, let's say 50 years old, she now has to go back out in the world and figure out life and partnership. Oh, but you're brave. Girl, you lied to me for this toxic. I'm admitting this is toxic. If you have not cheated on me and I'm a woman and I have your children and we're now 50 and we have built a life together, girl, you lied to me for 20 of them years, lied to me for 20 more. Absolutely not. You lied and told me you were straight for 20 years. You did not cheat. Please lie to me for the rest of your life and don't cheat. Absolutely not. We're not doing that. I'm not about to sit here and tell you you're brave. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Now, I'll do a footnote that is useless, but I have to do the footnote because my conscience requires it. I recognize that I'm speaking from a place of absolute privilege, right? And I'm in a world that allows for everything right now, not really. So I am speaking from a place of privilege. They might not have this kind of lens to look at the world from, so period. I'll put that out there. I still stand by everything I said. So you used her to cover up your homosexuality in a time where you could not be gay. Now that you can be gay, you now need to protect her. You know how you could use her to cover up your homosexuality, even use them kids to cover up your homosexuality for 30 years? Well, spend 30 more years giving back to her her time and caring for her the way you used her to care for you. Yeah, I think it's reciprocity. Continue the lie, girl. Just don't cheat. That's my opinion. Now, it could be wrong. It's not meaningful. That's my opinion on that.
And who got my journey to a space where I'm faithful to my wife.
Sorry, I'm annoyed. You know how difficult it was to get out of a 4-year relationship? It was real difficult. Like, you know, it ended and you're like, girl, I got used to this life. Imagine getting out of a 30-year relationship when you literally became both of your, girl, ain't nobody got time.
You know, and I believe that it is possible for God to heal and for God to deliver. But again, it's nuanced. This is not everybody's answer. It's not the same. That's why you got to have the Holy Ghost for yourself to know what to do, you know? Yeah, so that's what I say.
Let me tell you something. There's some women that's watching this right now, and they're like, I ain't grace for that.
Whoa.
Because I'll tell you this, it's ladies. We've talked about this many times. Deliverance from homosexuality.
Why are you shaming women? See, he goes, they're shaming women now. They're like, there's some women watching saying, I ain't grace for that. Period. To the women saying they aren't grace for that, eat down. It is wild to sit up there and attempt to shame them for saying they're not grace for that. So in this conversation where this man is lying and saying, well, I'm not saying women should take this kind of abuse, acknowledging one, it is abuse, then he goes on to give a soft request for you to maintain and stay in this abuse, right? They're going to take it and move it further than that to shame women for not being willing to take this abuse. Absolutely not. Dash says, I think the men that are ex-gay want validation from other straight men so that they can become straight because they're tired of being gay. That's the truth on that. Yeah, I think you're right. Timothy, as a black man who is on Clubhouse named Victor Edwards, wrote used to be bisexual. Is this the title of the book? Used to be bisexual, got saved and now married to a black woman. Says he's faithful. He tells his story and wrote a book. I believe that if you're bisexual, I get you can, if you don't cheat, stay with a woman. Yeah. I think you need to tell them though, and so she has a choice.
And I believe that it is possible for God to heal and for God to deliver. But again, it's nuanced. This is not everybody's answer. It's not the same. That's why you got to have the Holy Ghost for yourself to know what to do, you know? Yeah, so that's what I say.
Let me tell you something. There's some women that's watching this right now, and they're like, I ain't grace for that.
Whoa.
Because I'll tell you this, it's ladies. We've talked about this many times. Deliverance from homosexuality. And I've heard so many women say, I don't care. I love God. I know the power of Christ, but I don't care what the deliverance say. I ain't buying it. And I'm not dealing with no man that has this past.
Yeah.
And that is their right. Why are you now trying to shame them? That is their right. If a woman decide, I don't want to deal with a man, like a woman can say, I don't want to date a man who's dated a white woman. I don't say you should do this, but if you said that, that's your right. When you are talking about in your intimate spaces, when you're talking about relationship, the person who is going to sleep next to you and who you trust, you get to be, and I will hold myself to this for that till thy kingdom come. You get to be as discriminatory as you want to be when it comes to selecting your partner in life. Absolutely.
That's fine. And that means you don't have a grace for it and stay away.
Just don't talk bad about other people, obviously. All right, good. He said what I said. You don't want that. Stay away, period. I agree with him.
Stay away. stay away. But look, here's the thing though. These
Why are
women
you saying but, girl?
be gay too.
Wow. No, that's true. That's
They
true.
just as gay. Just societally, it's accepted, it's cute, it's attractive, it's a turn on. But you gay too.
That's fine. You also have a right to choose. I don't know why you're turning around to try to shame women who want to be gay or not gay or whatever. I don't know why you're trying to shame them. They could be gay and getting out. You as a man get to decide if you want to be with a woman who has slept with another woman. You get to do that, period. Now what? It's not like y'all have a choices.
So that man gotta have grace for you, just like you gotta have grace for him.
Period. Now move on. Because you just went back there to shame her, which means when you said, oh, just stay away if that's not what you want, you are angry because now you are dragging her for no reason. Yeah, she could have been gay or bisexual or whatever. It don't matter. She does not want to be with a man who's been with a man. Is that a bad thing? You might think so. They might think not. It does not matter. You get to make that choice on your own.
You know? So
It's just it's crazy because women, and particularly I'm specifically talking about black women, they just do not see it the same. You know,
Don't talk about black women. How about not?
we had Rashad Vermey join the platform and gave an incredible testimony. I'm talking about life-changing testimony to anybody who listens to that, gay or straight, in the power of faith in God. And, you know, we go to our respective, you know, residences and everything. And I'm talking to women that, you know, in my life. And they're like, oh, my God, like that dude, Rashad, man, bless his heart. You know, what a powerful testimony. You know, his girlfriend or his wife must be white. That was the response. And I'm like, what? It didn't click to me. I'm like, what does that have to do with it? Oh, Ryan, you know, no black, it's impossible. Here, let me go look it up. And I'm like, well, I already know what color she is. You don't got to look it up. And you're right. She's not. She's not.
Period. The girl said the white woman, that black woman said white women were graced for that kind of. She said, I know that one, the gay one.
Black, but explain to me what this has to do with the situation.
yeah, I mean, it's so crazy because you know you don't want them to be gay. They're born with this expression of sin they didn't ask for. They're praying for deliverance, and now you're saying, okay, cool, you can be delivered, but be delivered over there. But
Well, I don't understand what the problem is. The not wanting someone to be gay is a problem, right? But we're in the church, we're in their realm. What that has to do with them dating you? Like, why are you mad if a woman don't want it? Like, this feels very incel-y. Like, it feels very, you do not have a right to a woman because you're straight or ex-gay or whatever it is. Playing in these women's face, these women wake up at 15, you're like, girl, I gotta go out there now because I found out I was not actually delivered. The homosexual spirit is back. Now where that leave her?
I'll deal with the man who slept with 500 women.
Oh, they'll take it all day long.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
You look, I get it. But I think
Well, if you get it, shut up and sit with it. And nobody got time for y'all to be trying to shame women into your foolishness.
it's I think it's a double standard. I think it's
If you have attraction to men, that's a you problem or a you gift. But a woman does not need to be dealing with that.
I think it's in some ways hypocritical.
Yeah.
Because now you just stereotype every man who deals with same-sex attraction to be a whore.
No, they're not saying they're that. They're saying, even if you don't do it in the future, I don't want to be with you. That is a perfectly reasonable position. There are certain kinds of people that I would never date. Love you down, but I would never date, period.
And that's not the case all the time.
Why is it that thing? Because women will date convicts, you know, thieves, ex-whoremongers, you know, unemployed.
Go date you date him. You two date him. If y'all so mad about it, you two date him. throw on a wig and call it a day, girl. Ain't nobody got time. Just go ahead and throw on a wig and date him. We ain't got time. Or you could go ask a woman. Ain't nobody got time for this.
Wait, dudes, any kind of, but
It's
that
just-
one,
I think it's just stigma, bro.
wow.
You know, it's stigma around it. And like I said,
Yes, there's stigma around it, and she wants to be with a man who's not been with a man because of community stigma. Just like you wanted to present like a bigger, buffer, stronger man because you wanted to be accepted by the community. See how that works? You can stop being feminine, you can wear manly clothes, and you can show up more manly because you want to be accepted. Similarly, she want to be accepted. Point blank, period. Now what? Y'all are both trying to be accepted. Period.
you know, I do understand the sentiments. And all I'll say is, if you don't have the grace for it, just stay away from it. But there are women and men who have a grace for it. There are men who married women who dealt with same-sex attraction who has a grace.
If they don't ask him right now if his wife is white or black, they're doing like, why would you? I'm not saying the wife is whatever. I don't actually know. Don't know. But they brought it up and confirmed on one front. I think they should just ask, just to like say, see, a black woman is grace for it. Right? Like, I think they should ask. I want to know the results.
For that. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
And I know you got a question. I want to double up on this because we had, we launched our pilot dating experiment, which we started a whole new channel. Harlan, shout out to Harlan Love. We're completely done with that channel. We're gonna bring everything over to Harlan Initiated.
Yeah.
But one of the brothers had on his social media, he had his testimony on there, and he was former homosexual. Now, changed his life through Christ, and he was communicating that to a young lady that.
Is this the family? I think this is his family. I'm not going to say what I'm thinking, but period. So, so some black women are grace for it. It looks like it's a cute family. This is a cute family. I have comments. I have. Let me remove these comments. I do have comments. I will not make them. I will ask after Kilo and DJ has watched this part of the stream. I'm going to ask a very specific question, and I want to see if they and I have the same. I understand how this worked out. I know exactly how this worked out. Period. Lovely family, though.
That we matched him up with. And she was pretty much like, hey, everything was cool until I heard the testimony. So my question to you, in terms of dating dynamics, is that something that a man who formerly left the lifestyle, assuming there's no, evidence of photos and, he kind of can get away with that, is it any reason for him to share that experience with somebody he's dating or his woman, or should he just completely walk away from it and just keep it to himself?
Yeah, and when should he share it? If you say so, but go ahead.
That's a hard.
It's not a hard question. It is not a hard question. If you all are really sitting up here talking about God and being Christian, and you are talking as if there is a reality in which you think it is okay to hide the truth from your partner, you are diabolical, disgusting, demonic degenerate. If you actually, the fact that you think it's a hard question, the fact that this question is even being posed as if hiding your past in this way is a good thing to do, a right thing to do as Christian men, tells me everything I need to know about the duplicity in y'all's mind, in y'all's heart. That's insane.
Good question, bro.
Okay.
Because again, no two stories are the same, no two people are the same, no two relationships are the same. My default is this, and people think that
I don't care about your default. Y'all are talking about the blood of Christ. Y'all are talking about conversion. Y'all are talking about God. It does not matter. You now absolutely have to say yes, based on the Bible and the fact that we're talking about honesty and God. You have to tell the truth, point blank, period.
I guess avoiding the question when I say this, but this is why we have to have the Holy Spirit and walk by the Spirit, because he leads us and tells us what to do and what to say, even when it involves personal and intimate relationships. But beyond that, I do believe that I don't believe that a man should get in a relationship with a woman and go deep into a relationship without sharing that part of him.
Wow.
I don't believe so.
No, I don't care about what you believe. You should not do it because this would be a lie, and the Bible said to not lie. That's the answer if you're Christian.
I believe that they both should come, naked and not ashamed. But there's some relationships where people are like, I don't even want to know what you did. Just don't do it no more. You know what I'm saying? Just be faithful to me.
And you think that's okay? You think that's fine with that level of?
Yeah, there's some women who are delusional enough and low self-esteem enough to sit up there and talk about, I don't care, I just want to be married. Yes, I believe that fully. I believe that fully. I have actually seen this in real life. I've seen this in real life. A woman will know everything that is happening and pretend to not know. Will read the message. She will pray. I will sit there with her and show it to her and say, girl, and she will not care. She is married. That is it. That is all. She need the videos. Girl, I ain't got the videos. Your man is out there cheating with other men. And you don't want to believe it because you don't want to believe it. Now you don't want to talk to me. Got it. Period. Cool. I will not do that again. I ain't gonna get the lashings for you.
Transparency or lack thereof. You think that's okay if they go into the relationship that way?
Bro, if that's what you and your wife decide and y'all good with that and y'all can go with it, go with it. Go with it. Some of the stuff we try to tell people to do when it comes to things like this, I think a lot of people are opinionated, but I take scripture for scripture. So the only thing I'm gonna tell you that's absolute is what I see out the word of God.
Then tell them to tell the truth. The word of God said to tell the truth. Tell the truth and shame the devil. So these men are they're so annoying. He is true. They're telling the truth, though. There are women who don't want to know nothing. There are women who have low self-esteem and want to be accepted so badly in the community as a married woman that they will give absolutely anything, including their dignity, to be in a relationship. It is a truth. There are women who are losing careers to be in relationships with men. Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now, the Bible says the two shall become one. You know what I'm saying? Lock in. But
how can you become one with someone you don't know? That don't even make sense. While being religious yet honor misogyny and patriarchy over God is definitely a choice. And it's a choice, thanks, Mayor. And that's a choice they will make over and over and over again. Every single time. They will make that choice every single time.
Does that say that one means that you got to tell or divulge everything about your history to one another? No, there's certain relationships.
Shut up. Shut up. It is not everything. You cannot tell someone everything about your life because you don't remember everything. It is the thing that is material. There are things you know that is material. If you are intentionally withholding information, if you're intentionally omitting information, you're a degenerate liar. You're a duplicitous, degenerate, lying, a B word to add to it. Because it is insane for you to say you can't tell someone every little thing. It's not little. You know exactly that you are hiding a material information and you're choosing to do that. This is the spirit of manipulation and deception. Where's the comment? Yeah, this is the spirit of manipulation and deception in front of us. All of these men are degenerate. All three of them, for different reasons, degenerate.
Relationships that say, hey, I need to know everything you did, everybody you've been with. And if that's the case, then y'all need to do that. But then the other relationships that are like, look, I don't need to know every single detail. I know that God has called you to me. I know that God has called me to you. Let's rock with it. Let's rock with it. So yeah.
And we didn't mention this at all, by the way, which I think is really important, because we typically always, I don't know how I missed this. I think one of the biggest
that I don't need to tell you every little thing. Have a man cheating on you, coming home thinking it's some little thing they don't have to tell you. They know what is material and what is not. Reducing it to saying you don't have to say every little thing is absolutely insane and makes you absolutely untrustworthy. That statement that he just made, the one in the middle, makes him absolutely untrustworthy. You cannot trust this man. He's not a good man. He's not a godly man. He is a liar. And he's creating avenues for men who are DL to be with women and lie to them. That kind of manipulation doesn't just slip out of your mouth. That kind of manipulation is something that you've been taught and you've been using. And it is manipulation. It is absolutely insane to say you don't have to tell people every little thing that you have been through and in your past. Every little thing as it relates to you sleeping with men, knowing that that is a part of patriarchy and that's what people have grown to either value or not value. You know that is important. You know that is material to women. Now, I'm not arguing that it should be. I'm arguing that it is. And because it is important to women, if you are choosing to be with a woman, you should disclose this as a principled matter. As a Christian, you do not have a choice but to disclose. So I don't know why 3 Christian men are sitting up here pretending that they do not have to disclose something that is material in the decision making of the woman that they're planning to marry. That is absolutely insane. Again, I'm speaking from a moral principled place that you have to and you should disclose, but also add to that, as a Christian, you absolutely have to. Yeah, agreed. Fully agreed. They are fake. And they're pissing me off. Because again, women are the only one up here adhering to that Bible. These men only pick and choose that Bible to the extent that they can subjugate you as a woman. That's all they're doing with that Bible. And the sooner you come to the realization that these men do not care nothing about that Bible, the sooner you will be freed. The sooner you realize these men don't care nothing.
roles here, especially a platform who has been, strongly repairing ourselves internally for family and to rebuild our community. This also is a husband and a father. That's a big role. Married for years. And did you have any issue, initially having that conversation with your wife early on in conversation?
I did. I remember, this was pre-marriage. We were dating, and I knew I needed to tell her, and again, it wasn't no big secret. But
I want to know what that conversation was like. Hey, woman that I'm dating, I was sleeping with men and now I'm not. The Lord saved me. And she was like, oh yeah, I believe in the love of God and the Spirit of God to change you, so I'm going to still marry you. Or was it, I am deeply desperate? I'm going to leave that alone.
knew I needed to talk to her. So we sat down, and I shared it with her. And that was that.
And was that the first time you were ever honest with a woman?
So for me, it really was never like a huge secret. I mean, I was not openly gay, but it wasn't something that was just like a big secret. The people who were close to me knew. You know what I'm saying? So, and no, it wasn't my first time because I had dated girls and a lot of them were bisexual. You know what I'm saying?
Was that your preference at the time because of that?
No, it wasn't because of that. I don't think it was. I just think I had dated a couple, bisexual girls at the time. And, we really did, love each other for what it was worth. And that's why I say, if you're not with it.
When did you cheat on them? See, oh my God. These men are so useless as interviewers because they're not giving what needs to be gave. And also, when you were dating these bisexual girls, was it after the men, during the whole homosexual phase that you had? And when you stopped being quote unquote homosexual, did you date And when you say people knew, what does that mean in terms of the women you were dating? Because it was very clearly stated that you told her or you thought you had to talk to her when you started getting serious, which means there was a period of ignorance on her part. So when you say everyone knows, what does that actually mean? Did she know before she dated you and before you disclosed it? Is she a desperate woman? Like, what is your what? How do you read your wife?
It just go on. Just find somebody who's never dealt with it. And brothers, don't be lying to the women. If they ask you and they're not with it, don't try to fake like, you're something that you're not. Just let them go on, because there are other people out here who have grace for it.
Now, see, that's a very vulnerable moment when you go ahead, because think about it. You download. That means you don't want to really claim this identity. This is something that you're not. It's a shame associated to it. And now you're talking to a woman that now is a candidate to be your wife.
Absolutely.
So I know that's a very vulnerable conversation. And I know as men, we gonna have different conversations that are gonna be very vulnerable.
Yeah.
That you have to have with a woman that you're taking very seriously. Me,
Right.
I had to do that in various ways as well.
Absolutely.
That might be with something you experienced as a child. That might be with your finances that you're dealing with. That might be in these different areas of soft spots. And I know that based on how a woman responds, could let you know whether or not you're gonna have another vulnerable moment with this woman.
This is true.
And it's a snap thing. Like, it could be a quick snicker, it could be the way her face, respond when you say something,
or the shutdown,
or the shutdown that lets you know this is not a safe space.
Yeah.
Or this is somewhere that I feel super safe, and I feel like we can keep doing this here, right? How do you feel like she responded in that moment?
When I talked to my
Because he think bisexuality is a sin. So he would not want to date a bisexual man after he became a Christian, because he would have because he thought bisexuality is a sin, unfortunately.
wife.
Yeah, when you came.
Oh no, bro.
She
was very open and caring and loving. Understanding. Yeah,
Girl, you take me back to the day. Let's do it. You were in your Sunday best. She was in her pearl necklace. Tell me about how it went down, girl. Girl, I said I would be off here at 10, and it's 11:11 right now. I might not be hitting them streets tonight. That's fine. It's not like there was anything out there for me. Y'all, no, I have a surprise for y'all on Tuesday. I do. I don't know if it's a surprise. Y'all go and drag me for it, I think. I think I'm going to go through another week of getting dragged. But let's just say I was trying to do something for y'all after the rough week we had. And I don't know how to edit this video. I already recorded it. But I'm not going to give you a hint. I'll talk about it after I post it. I thought I was doing something cute for y'all, but it's giving the spirit of homosexuality. The video. Anyway, it is what it is.
She gave me no pushback.
Wow.
She gave me none. Like I say, I feel like that there's somebody grace for you. You're meant to be married. There's somebody out there that's grace to know you. I think what you mentioned, though, speaks to a bigger issue. People just have communication issues, period. And most people have never been held accountable. Most people have never had really deep relationships. And most people have never had anybody to take on all of who they are, good, bad, and ugly, and embrace it and still accept them, let alone have to take on somebody else's stuff and accept them. And so I think that speaks to a greater issue at large, because even if it's not homosexuality, it could be anything that, you confess to. You just said you had a hard conversation.
For sure.
Right. And if you don't know how to properly communicate effectively, then that's an issue.
This was some time ago. I remember watching something on TV with some friends, and it was a guy. I can't remember who it was. It was a celebrity that came out, so to speak, just openly announced, he was gay. And I had an attitude about it. I was like, man, I made a comment like, why does he have to do that? Like, I'm not walking around here talking about I'm heterosexual.
Yeah.
So would you prefer for him to be down low? Would you prefer for him to be like you? I don't understand. Like, why would that make you like? Why would that make you mad? That's so weird. Why would that make you mad? Danny from Cat's Eye announced to the world that she was straight, and I was like, "Oh, period, girl, you better be straight."
And then it was a young lady who was like, well, aren't you openly heterosexual? I'm like, no, like I don't be around sharing my business, that type of deal.
Lies. Every chance they have said they were straight more than 5 times each separately on this podcast. As a straight man, ... As a straight man, ... A very specific moment was when Baldhead Man said, as a straight man, I did not like being around gay men. They've continuously announced that they're straight. Men continuously do this, actually. Before anyone asks, I'm straight. No teeth, absolutely no one. No one at all. As a straight guy, I don't know what it's like to blah, blah, blah. How is it blah? You did not have to give us this preface. You did not have to tell us that you were straight and you did not know. You could have just asked the question. That's so weird. Like you mad someone came out. You're just mad. That's so weird. Speaking from a person that is saying, I've been delivered from homosexuality, though you're saying that you're straight.
And she was like, well, she was asking me all these questions that suggested I am openly.
I think you said, thought you were saying that you're straight. Wait. Can you rephrase it? I think I'm misunderstanding. Speaking from a person that is saying, I've been delivered from homosexuality, though you're saying you're... Right. Oh, sorry. That's what the other guy is saying about him, too. As a person who's been delivered from homosexuality.
Heterosexual. And it kind of gave me some context to how somebody could be openly gay, right?
Yeah.
By just literally living your life regular, openly gay, going out with, let's say you're a guy, going out with another guy in public, you openly gay, right? But and so thinking about on that conversation I had with a group of friends, it's now getting me to think about what it really means to not be open with your sexuality. So could you give us some detail, but, because you said you were not open. What does it actually look like when somebody is not open about their sexuality? Like, what does it look like? I think
it's only a thing because it's around this subject, homosexuality, or same-sex attraction. But I'm not. I don't have the gay flag on my page. I'm not, kissing up on some guy on social media. I'm not hugged up on somebody, walking up and down the street or something like that. At least not in a intimate sexual kind of way.
Do you share anything with family, like and friends? Like, do you share any dating experience, like at all?
Yeah. So I'd never dated a guy.
Okay.
Yeah. But I had friends who were in the lifestyle that I shared things with outside.
Wait, I've never dated a guy. I am so confused by him specifically. So you were just sleeping around with men. You've never dated them. You were using men essentially. That's interesting. I have questions for you. You were a toxic degenerate, weren't you? Yeah, it sounds like you were a toxic degenerate person.
Of the lifestyle?
Outside, like you share with anybody?
Outside of the lifestyle? I'm trying to recall. Probably not.
So you don't talk about women or men to anybody outside of the lifestyle?
Yeah, no, not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is very secret.
Yeah, it's not a thing. And you can call it a secret, but it's like, first of all, I know you don't want to hear it. Second of all, this is why do we have to?
Well, so I mean, like for example, me and Tyshawn, we having a conversation, talk about some ladies we went out with.
Gotcha.
And you here with us.
Yeah, so we save that conversation for somebody else who deals with same-sex attraction.
Oh, so we may pop off a conversation about some women, you just wouldn't even say nothing.
Probably not. I'll just laugh.
Ryan, really, he thinking back in his Rolodex now when this might have happened.
No, because I'm just thinking about like how you communicate in general.
It is so weird for me to hear him, specifically him, talk about this as if he doesn't understand. Like everything is a revelation to him in a way that is not humanly possible. So I'm not knowing if he's trying to flatter his guest or if he's just straight up lying. Because if he's lying, he's gay. If he's lying, he's pretending he doesn't know what is happening. And so when everything that is like very like rational and reasonable being said feels like an oh my god moment from his perspective. Either he's dumb, which he is, and he's just trying to flatter his guest, or he's dumb and he's gay and pretending to be confused. Like a man who is down low, who is not open about his sexuality, when he's among straight guys talking about women, he'll fit into the conversation how he can. He's not gonna add to that. Hey, you know what? I'm sleeping with this guy. What? That would defeat the point of him being DL or in the closet or whatever. Wait, what's the difference between DL and closet? I now need to know this. Realize I've been saying them interchangeably. Between DL and closeted. The distinction between DL and closeted individual is often debated within the LGBT plus community. DL refers to a man who engages in sexual relationships with LGBTQ plus individuals but conceal their true sexual orientation from their partners, often leading to double life. In contrast, closeted individuals are those who do not disclose their sexual orientation or gender identity to most people but may not be actively hiding it. Oh, that's a dumb distinction. My natural instinct is to believe that a DL person is sleeping around while a closeted person is not. So, like, a DL person is a person who has a wife and is sleeping around. A closeted person might be with someone, but they're not cheating on a woman. Another way I would see this is that a closeted person is a white gay man and a DL person is a black gay man. Well, that ain't right. That ain't right. I feel like that's the definition I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the DL is black and the closeted is white. No, because DL actually has a lot of connotation by the very way it's said. So I can't put that on black man when we know white men running amok out here. Like, you remember that man, that doctor that talks to men on the phone, all them white men calling in talking about cheating on their wife with men. So I can't put that. But DL feels like it's something that is used in the black community. I've actually never heard it in the white community. And I've never really heard the word closeted. No, I have. I generally don't hear the word closeted in the black community. But I do hear the word closeted in the white community. I don't know. I'm going to do some deep analysis and come back to y'all. I'll be back. Put a pause on that. And we'll be back talking about that later.
I mean, because we got this accountability group.
Go ahead.
And in the accountability group, you know, a couple of guys recommended you. So I know they're having issues with this because they recommended, hey, Reginald, come on the show.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And they said they're dealing with anonymously. Guys have stated it.
No. Closeted feels more cutesy. Closeted feels more demure and more mindful. And the reason is, when you're closeted, it doesn't necessarily mean you're sleeping around. DL implies sleeping around. It does. I don't know if it's true, but DL implies sleeping around. I don't know why fully yet. Wait, okay, no, I do. If you're on the down low, what are you doing on the down low? You are doing something on the down low. Closeted just means you're hiding something, which is your sexuality. It doesn't actually actively involve like the doing of something. You're in the closet means you're passively there, right? On the DL, feels like you're hiding something that you're actively doing. DL insinuate deception. Yeah, yes. All right, we're on the same wavelength. We're informing each other and just making up definitions in this chat, and I'm here. And I love this for us. I love this for us. Please do not take anything I'm saying seriously right now, because I actually do not know there's a distinction. I use them interchangeably.
dealing with homosexuality.
Yeah, so it just makes me think about certain conversations I've had in front of people that to me, I'm just talking about a girl, I was dealing with in the past, or something came up, we've seen some beautiful women or something. I'm thinking like, is that offensive? You know what I mean? Is it inappropriate?
For you to talk about that around them?
Yeah.
No. Okay, so you got Christian point of view, perspective, interaction, and then you just have like world view, and so there are some delicacies there when it comes to that and that kind of conversation. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to make anybody from a worldview uncomfortable by having these conversations or forcing them to say, hey, what's the last girl you slept with, or what's the last girl you dated, right? So you want to be mindful of that kind of thing, because it may be somebody who deals with same-sex attraction. It may be somebody who who's not heterosexual. So that's one thing. But from a Christian point of view, in having these interactions and engagement, I don't think it's inappropriate per se.
Yeah.
I just think
I don't remember that. I do not remember that.
I don't know. I just think I honestly don't know. I don't know.
No, that's fair. That's fair. And what I want to ask you here is, I want you to talk to the brother struggling with this, because man, we had Philip Mitchell on here, and he made a really good point of how he has to, very intentionally, like, really wring sin out of his heart. As it can seep in different phases and stages and seasons of his life, different things.
Are you still gay? That's the question he's asking. Are you still gay? This was I don't give these two idiots compliments often, but this might be one of the best setup for this question I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Church growing, ego coming.
Yeah.
Right? I'm in this certain environment, lust growing.
Yeah.
I'm in this environment of season, pride growing. Right? You got to constantly get that out of your heart. You talk about from a kid, this has been growing in your heart, and been building for so long, and it's been happening for most of your life.
Get to the point, girl. The build-up is done. You can ask the question now. You're safe. You're doing too much now. Still really good, but you're doing too much.
What is the process to get that out of your heart? Because I think...
Oh my God. He destroyed such a good question. That's not the question he wanted to ask. And somewhere along the line, either he forgot the question, or he decided to bail out on the question. His question was, does it still seep in, and do you have any way to like push back against it? His question is not how the man got it out of his heart. It's, do you still have those urges, and how do you deal with them now? That's the question he actually has. Maybe he asked the first one of how you got it out, and then maybe there's a secondary question, which would still be a good way to ask the question of, like, does it come up now, and how do you deal with it, as a secondary question. And that allows the interviewee to answer either one that he's comfortable asking, and you don't have to push, even though you could still push. Or you could have him answer the first question, how did you get it out of your heart? And then have him talk. And then after, you follow up with, does it come back in every now and then? I needed him to ask the every now and then question. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous because this was all my years ago. Hi, truth teller. Turn around. Every now and then I fall apart. And I need you there tonight. White men are on the DL2 TMS. Oh, no, I know. I'm not. Thank you. And I need you more than ever. And if you only hold me on,
you made a statement saying that, I think when you commit to your life to Jesus, that's when deliverance starts, right? That's deliverance.
I know it's not a country song. I'm singing in a country. Ooh. Yeah, I can change the rain on the roof of these empty hills. If that don't bother me, I can take a few seas now and then and just let them out. I am not afraid to cry, everyone. Every once in a while, even though we know if they're gonna steal us, they will fail every now and again. I pretend I'm okay, but it's me we guess we.
But I think there's also a level of being this. I think there's the concept of like being fully delivered, right? Like where it's out of your heart, like it's gone from your heart. Is that so? Walk me through what was that process for you, and is there ever being fully delivered from homosexuality, or is it something you constantly and daily have to battle and fight, just as a man will daily and have to battle and fight lust?
Absolutely. I heard testimonies of people say, you know, like I went to an altar or had an encounter with Jesus and I never dealt with it anymore. Those kind of testimonies plagued me because I'm like, I'm born in the church. I love God. You can't tell me I don't. I'm committed to this thing. I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm doing all the right stuff. Nothing's working. You know, so for you to say, you know, and I believe that it happens, right? I believe that it can happen. I just don't believe that everybody's journey and process of deliverance is the same. Even when God performed miracles and when God spoke.
Do you still have homosexual feelings? Thank you. I can change the rain on the roof of this empty house, and that don't bother me. I can take a few tears now and then and just let them out. I am not afraid to cry every once in a while, even though it's gonna still exist me. There are days every now and again I pretend I'm okay, but that's no good. Period.
Spoke to people and people had deliverance moments. It was never the same for any two people, right? I like to equate it to the story of the lepers. They come to Jesus and say, Jesus, heal us. Jesus says, go to the king and show yourself. But the problem with that was, as they were going, when they left, they weren't healed. They still were lepers. But the Bible says, as they went, they were healed. I realized
the way I've missed every single with take it to the bridge. Absolutely not. Those notes are so simple to sing when you're just singing, and I can't even do it at all. I can't even stay on the right key when I'm doing a country accent for the first verse. You think I'm about to try to hit that chorus? You think I'm going to try to hit that bridge? Sorry. You think I'm about to try to hit that bridge when I'm barely on note for, for the most basic notes? You absolutely done lost you. Hello. Absolutely done.
that my journey of deliverance and healing was, you know, it was something that was going to happen as I continued to obey the voice of God. Here's what I mean by that. I heard
Yes, you may. I don't remember the lyrics, but I'm going to try. She has a bleach blonde bed belt butch body, running for the junk for the God Almighty. A heat sinking mess so scared of the bait. She cries like a baby when she don't get away. She cries like a baby when she don't get away. She has a bleach blonde baby butch body. She has a bleach blonde baby boo. She is a bleach blonde bad belt butch body. A bleach blonde bad belt butch body.
Sermon by Apostle Matthew Stevenson years ago. And in that sermon, he says, men are designed to reflect what is before them. If your sin nature is before you, then you're going to reflect your sin. But if what God's word says concerning you is before you, you're going to reflect that. Because of my sin nature stayed before me. I knew that there was a call on my life. I got prophecies all the time. God spoke to me all the time about who I was, but I couldn't believe that. I couldn't turn my mind to that because of the sin. So even when I would pray, I would have the sin before me. When I would fast, I would have the sin before me. But it was something that happened where I began to turn my mind towards what God said about me. I began to believe what he said. I began to believe in the power of deliverance. I began to believe that I was this man that God had called me to be, and I walked that way. And as I walked, I was healed as I went. Many people feel like they got to stay right here until they're healed, and then they can obey God. I say, obey God, and you'll be healed. So for me, it is, and until this day, it is still a daily crucified.
You walked into me trying to get a new job, me trying to get the easy life by making an album that no one's about to buy.
Of the flesh. It's a daily crucifying of the flesh. I can't tell you a moment I had where I was like, you know, this moment is where I truly got delivered.
Wow.
It was just a continued journey with God, and God began to excavate layers and deal with things. And I realized it was more than just, the homosexuality, but what was the root? It was spirit of rejection, spirit of abandonment. It was so many.
Wait, I need them to ask him directly. Are you currently dealing with the spirit of homosexuality? Are you still fighting homosexuality?
The other things that was under that God needed to deal with along the way of the journey. And then I started to look back and I'm like, whoa, I haven't slept with nobody. Wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? I'm not involved in the stuff that at one point I felt that I would never be free from, the stuff that I prayed about. It was when I started to obey God's instruction for my life that I began to see it.
Wow.
Earlier, you mentioned the spectrum of kind of where people are at, and you mentioned the LGBTQ affirming churches. What are your...
I absolutely abhor the fact that he bailed out on his question. I thought it was such a good question. I know for a fact that was the question he was going to ask, but he bailed out on the question, and that just made me sad. That just made me sad. I actually got that's why I was singing. I got like super excited. When you underestimate people and they prove you wrong, I like to be, especially if I underestimate the intellect of someone else, when they prove that they have what it takes, I get really excited. And I actually got really excited for these two men, because for the first time in forever, they were about to do something that I thought was actually good intellectually. And they didn't. They just said, absolutely not. You thought we were smart? You thought I was feeling you? You thought I was smart? No.
What is your general opinion about those organizations, institutions, what have you, those churches? And what do you think the motivations behind them being gender affirming is? Is it confusion? Because like you said, it's 5 scriptures which specifically state how a man should operate regarding sexuality. Yeah. So what do you think the motivations are behind those LGBTQ affirming churches?
Yeah, man. There's so many things associated with it, and I don't damn the people. I think one, like I said earlier, a lot of them tried to find community, healthy community, but couldn't find it. So they can only find it among themselves. Second thing is the scripture says that if we, if man sleeps with a man, it talks about him being turned over to a reprobate mind. And so I think at some point when we continue in sin, the mind turns and we can't even feel that conviction anymore. And so now we begin to say, we begin to call what is wrong right and what is right wrong. And really, we're just looking for a safe haven. We're just looking for a place to go to be accepted, to have understanding. And with these communities, what they do is they do provide a lot of education. They even grant funded education programs to talk about LGBTQ plus community and experiences. Wow. Right. But we don't have any information or knowledge over here. So when they look for knowledge and information, it's all over here. You know what I mean? So I do think that, there is a spirit.
These men are not in any bondage by religious psychosis. They're not. He gonna do what he wants. And him in the middle, he definitely gonna do what he wants.
For confusion, I do believe.
They're not in any kind of... The only time religious psychosis come up when it comes to men is when they're trying to convince women to do something. That's the only time. They do not care. They said you can lie. Essentially, they all said you can lie to a woman to be with them. They do not care nothing about that religion at all. None of these men, including the one in the middle, care nothing about this religion. They're talking about a class that he is selling to get ex-gay to become straight. Right? And he's selling courses. None of these men, none of them, not baldy, not Goldilocks, and not toothless, none of them care nothing about that Bible.
Believe that many are just looking for community. And I do believe that many are just looking for somebody over here on this side to say, hey, we see you, we understand, here's what you need, here's community, come on over. Yeah.
Wow. Man, this is heavy, man. This is heavy. First of all, right now, if y'all getting blessed right now, drop a blessed in the chat. Man. Right now. It's not many people, man, who really are, as you put, graced, to help people in this space or with this specific issue and problem. But, we see it growing in our community, man. We see it growing in our media. Yeah. We see it being put in front of our face. I feel like I don't know if it's a Hollywood rule now, but I don't think you can cast a movie now without having at least a gay person, a gay couple.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe even an interracial couple. Now that's kind of a thing too. And even a little bit of transgenderism I'm seeing slowly getting put into every major show series and movie being put out. Do you feel like right now Hollywood has a very intentional agenda?
Absolutely.
What's the purpose of that?
Absolutely. I think, first of all, I think you talked about principalities. I think over generations, the things that were done behind doors, every generation began to manifest that more and more. And so what I think we're seeing is a manifestation of what's been happening, decades ago.
All right. I can't do it for freckles. My friends just messaged me saying that I am running way late because they have, mind you, I never told them I was coming. I said I might go, that they have hookah at the table. The thing is, my friends, none of them has ever seen me do hookah. So I'm not sure why they would be telling me that I'm running late on the hookah. That ain't even make sense. That don't even make sense to me. Separately, who gonna tell these people that I may not be going out? No, actually, I'm gonna go out. Let me just go now. I like Our Lennox's new album, by the way. I know none of the songs on there. I heard a snippet, and I loved it. So I shouldn't say the album, but the parts of the album that I've heard, great. Let's go into the after show because I have to do the after show and then come back. Wait, I need to pull this up for the after show because I don't want to forget it. This man done pissed me off. I'm not even about to give a summary because I just wish he lived in his truth, and I kind of wish they had asked him. I wish they had asked him if he still struggle with homosexuality. I'm supposed to be taking anyway. That man gonna live in his truth. That man still living in his truth. You're not about to convince me he's not living in his truth currently. And I wished they'd ask him the question. I'm actually really annoyed. Part of why I'm going out is because they didn't ask the question that they wanted to ask, and I wanted the answer to. But this is what we were going to watch. And Kilo is the one who actually made the decision of what video we should watch, because I sent her these two videos that I saw, and she's the one who decided the one I should watch. But this was the one we're going to watch.
But this specific person joined our group, and one day she asks for us to go to a hospital to pray for a friend's grandmother who's in a coma. When I make it to the hospital, she shows up. And while we're there waiting, we start talking about the things of God. We start talking about how God is moving and all these different things. And she says, I got to tell you something, though. I can't stop thinking about you. I said, what? When I'm washing the dishes, while I'm at work, even when I'm talking to my own husband, because she was married. And at this time I was married too. Throughout the day, all day, I can't stop thinking about you. You're just in my head. And the first thing that I can utter out of my mouth was, you shouldn't have told me that. And I went to her job with the intention to try to do something, to try to physically hug her, kiss her, whatever it was. And she resisted, she fought, but eventually she gave in. That officially started a physical affair. I heard for the first time God's audible voice, and he says, if you have sex with her, you shall surely die.
Now, do you think he had sex with her? Now, do you think he's still alive? He's still alive, but do you think I actually don't know the answer to this. Yeah, because it sounds like a very different.
That eventually turned into postpartum depression. I also fell right back into the depression that God had numbed me from. It was new for me. I hadn't experienced it in 2 years. That was a back and forth. I remember that was around February, March. Easter's sometime in April. And I'm asked by the pastor of the church to testify, to preach on a Friday or Saturday about las siete palabras de Jesús. Bible study, Jubilee Hill Ministry is born, and people are starting to be restored. I only named 2 situations, but people are coming out of depression. She wanted to leave her husband, and she wanted me to leave my wife so that we could be together. And I told her, listen, between you and my wife, at this time, it's a toss-up. I don't know who I want to be with. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we have to watch this. Grab your. We coming back tomorrow. It is what it is. What do you mean between your side chick and your wife? You don't know who you want to be with. It's a toss-up. A period. A period. We go grab your bingo cards, girl. We gonna play bingo tomorrow. This is a pastor. We gonna play bingo tomorrow. It is. Wait, it's a toss-up is nasty work. Is it? Let me go edit the bingo card. Send me the edited bingo card so I can put it up. Run and Tell made the first bingo card, y'all. Yeah. Yeah, between you and my wife, it's a toss-up. It's nasty work. Between you and my wife, it's a toss-up. I don't want to play it. I'm gonna control I'm gonna do what he can't do and control myself. We're not about to play this. I'm gonna see y'all tomorrow. We're gonna get 2 for the price of 1 because I took the video down yesterday. So I'm gonna come back. And we're gonna get into this. Have a wonderful night, all. Please be safe. Stay away from the spirit of promiscuity. Stay away from the spirit of drug. Stay away from the spirit of hookah. Stay away from the spirit of these streets. We good? All right. Have a wonderful night. Bye. Bye. To me, that's different than saying between you and God, it's a toss-up. No different.